All right, let's get back to it. Yo, this is Set with Set Media. My bad. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, and we are back with another one, man. All right, guys. Sorry about the interruption. Had to fix some things in the background. But let's get right back to it. Everybody tripping about Trump's tariffs. We're going to go to Face the Nation with my man. Who is it? The Commerce Secretary Howard? Oh, yeah, I like this guy. He's always standing behind Trump every step of the way.
Another turbulent week as President Trump's trade war with the world escalates. The global sell-off triggered by President Trump's tariff announcements wiped out more than $6 trillion of wealth from the U.S. stock market in just 2 days. In a social media post yesterday, the president urged the country to hang tough. All this as tens of thousands of people took to the streets yesterday from Washington, D.C. to Minnesota and Columbus, Ohio, protesting many of Trump's policies, Elon Musk, and tariffs. We begin this morning with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Mr. Secretary, welcome to Face the Nation.
Great to be here.
We see about 60% of Americans have money in the stock market, which mean that retirees could be just as concerned as hedge fund managers this morning. Did you expect this level of shock in the financial markets?
Well, you've got to realize this is a national security issue. I mean, we don't make medicine in this country anymore. We don't make ships. We don't have enough steel and aluminum to fight a battle, right? All our semiconductors are made overseas. So every button we press when we try to start our car or even use our microwave, these are all semiconductors. They're all made elsewhere. We've got to start to protect ourselves, and we've got to stop having all the countries of the world ripping us off. We have a $1.2 trillion trade deficit, and the rest of the world has a surplus with us.
Yep.
They're earning our money. They're taking our money.
I always did say, like, you can't talk about tariffs without touching on the trade deficit first. And then here's the thing, though. I found out they have an answer for that now. It's not always bad to have a trade deficit. I'm like, yeah, it is. It actually is. Because the fact that we're pretty much taking in more of their product, we're buying more of their products than they are of ours, it kind of lets us know something. And then the fact that, well, one, they're putting tariffs so our products don't sell over there, or they just straight have an import ban on our products, kind of says a lot about these countries.
Right.
And Donald Trump has seen this, and he's going to stop it. So it is going to be a big change. Of course, it's going to be a big change, but the rest of the world has been ripping us off for all these many years. Donald Trump has seen it. He's spoken about it.
I understand
and he's just
that.
not going to take it anymore. And that's his model.
And that was abundantly clear during the presidential campaign how much the president truly believes in tariffs and putting him at the center of his economic policy. But you saw absolute panic in the global markets. Did you expect that, or were you surprised?
No, I think the point is you need to reset the power of the United States of America and reset it against all our allies and our enemies alike. The idea that all the countries of the world can run trade surpluses with America and buy our things with us. Remember, $1.2 trillion. In 1980, we were a net investor, meaning we owned more of the rest of the world than they owned of us.
Yeah, it's a different world.
And now,
it's a different market.
now they own.
I mean, yeah, lady, that's not a good argument, though. So pretty much you're saying that, yeah, well, in this different market, we should accept the fact that our middle class has been gutted and that all the jobs are being shipped overseas. It's like, are you really saying that? Like, that has the times have nothing to do with the state of the economy. We can always change directions, and that's what Trump is doing. And the fact that you guys have the argument of, oh, well, a trade deficit isn't always bad, or, well, oh, we're in different times of the economy is asinine. Because obviously, if we kept going like as we were going to walk off the economic cliff into a sea of depression.
They own $18 trillion of us net. So that means the rest of the world, every year when we run a $1.2 trillion deficit, the rest of the world buys $1.2 trillion of America, and it goes up and up and up. And eventually we're not going to own America, and we are going to be owned by the rest of the world. Imagine if we had a war and we can't build a ship, we can't fly a plane, we can't build our own planes, we don't have our own semiconductors. This is what the president is here to fix for America. It's in his hands, and he wants to fix America. This is his chance to fix America, and we need him to fix it for our children and our grandchildren.
And I want to hit Dems with this answer. All right, so how do we fix the middle class then? what do we do? Because tax the rich and giving out money is only going to make the rich move their corporations overseas, give those countries jobs. But oh yeah, but you Dems don't have no backbone, so you're still going to let them sell into our country. Like, what was the plan then?
Okay, but for businesses to do what you're doing, because what I hear you laying out there is a plan to reindustrialize the United States and to bring companies back to America. For a CEO to choose to invest.
Well said.
But for a CEO to make those decisions, you know this, they need certainty. They need to know if it costs them more to stay overseas or if it costs them more to move here. So can you give them clarity so that they don't just cut jobs because they're dealing with the cost of these tariffs? Can you tell them how long they're staying in place?
Well, why would we do that? Because then these countries are going to know how long to hold out. Why would we give you all a time limit? I mean, like I said, we're playing a game of negotiation here. Giving y'all a time limit on, when the suffering is going to end, honestly, it's going to let these countries know, all right, well, we just need to hold out until they lift the tariffs. Nah, we want to stand firm and let them know, like, yo, you are going to give us good trade, or you're going to miss out on this money, or you're going to miss out on our economy. It's either one or the other. Like, what's it going to be? You guys are either going to do good trade with us, or we'll make our economy so damn appetizing, we'll just take jobs from you guys. I mean, shoot, we can get the corporate tax low, even lower. Why not?
Absolutely. The United States of America is going to protect the people who invest in America. Trillions and trillions of dollars, you heard the president speak about it, are coming to invest in America. This is the economy of the world. We are the consumer of the world, and companies need to build it here, and we will protect them for building it here.
Okay,
we will help the American workers. Yes, American workers are more expensive, but they're better. We're going to protect all the factories that come to America, and that's what's coming here. So
okay,
the president
is the 10% tariff
He's going to
permanent?
protect them. Well, remember, this is a national security issue.
I got it. Is the 10% tariff
our budget
permanent?
deficit? That, the laws of America, he would like it to be that we need to protect the companies that invest here, and we are going to protect the companies that invest here. That is the policy of the United States of America. That's why trillions of dollars are coming here. The ripoff of the United States of America is over. All these companies are going to come and invest here. That's what they're doing. That's why they've committed trillions of dollars. They know this is the economy.
Mr. Secretary,
this is the place to go.
Mr. Secretary, the campaign's over. You won. So I'm asking what the plan is. So the Treasury Secretary said on another network.
Wait, was she not listening? Like, hold on. That was the plan. Like, yes, the plan is the tariffs is going to be used to get these people to play fair. The problem is, why don't you ever recognize, or other people recognize, that these countries have tariffs on us as well? Actually, these countries are so afraid of competition that they got import bans on our products. I mean, I think they brought up a good example with the apples. Like, we have zero tariff on apples. We can let apples come in from all around the world with no tariffs. But other countries got tariffs on our apples. Isn't that a bit weird? Is that playing fair? Well, guess what? They got tariffs on other things they got tariffs on other products of ours other than just apples. They got import bans. So if these countries don't want to play fair, then cool. Tariff.
We're going to hold the course. It's not the kind of thing you can negotiate away in days or weeks. That makes it sound like the tariffs are staying in place at least for days or weeks. Is that correct, or is the president considering postponing implementation to negotiate?
There's no postponing. They are definitely going to stay in place for days and weeks. That is sort of obvious. The president needs to reset global trade. Everybody has a trade surplus, and we have a trade deficit. We are paying away our future and our lives. The countries of the world are ripping us off, and it's got to end. The president has made it crystal clear. This is the policy we are going to protect. The factories that come build in America, we are going to protect them. They're going to be successful. That's why they're going to build in America, the greatest economy in the earth. All of these companies are going to come and build here.
So when three of the president's other economic advisors who are on other networks today say that 50 different countries have been calling the White House to try to talk about the tariffs, what does that mean? Because that makes it sound like there is a negotiation, which is different from saying the tariffs are permanent.
I mean, do you not get now how negotiation works? Like, it's like you're trying to ruin the American strategy, lady. Like, publicly, like, for everybody, all the countries to see and be like, okay, they're not for real about these tariffs. Let's just wait it out, guys. Nah, I'm glad they're calling in, like Vietnam called in and dropped their tariffs, and now we're cool again. That's all these countries need to do. We don't need to let them know when it's going to be lifted. How about this? It's going to get lifted when you act right. There you go. That's when the tariffs will be lifted, when you act right. And guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, man. Appreciate the support, guys.
Well, what it shows is that all these countries know that they've been ripping us off, and the day has come for that to end. Now, the problem is it's not just tariffs. Like, I'll give you an example. Like Vietnam said they'd like to be 0-0. Remember, Vietnam sends us $120 billion worth of goods every year.
Yes,
and we
cheap
send
manufacturing.
them about $12 billion. Wait, we send them $12 billion. So it's not the tariffs. It has nothing to do with tariffs. If they went to 0-0, they would go to 200 billion with us. We need to stop the ripoff, and 0-0 is the way.
I
to
know,
make
but we
a
don't have
more
0-0,
of a
sir.
ripoff. We
don't have 0-0, actually, because when we saw the president stand in the Rose Garden holding up that chart that you helped make.
Duh, we don't got 0-0. He's saying that 0-0 is the fairest way to operate with us. It's like, okay, cool. Look, no tariff bans and zero tariffs. I'm sorry, no import bans and zero tariffs, and we're cool. And we'll drop our look. You quit the BS, we'll stop the BS too. That's what this tariff game is about. When these countries act right and want to have a fair trade deal and work that out with us, then great. We can negotiate that, and then we'll keep it pushing. But until then, retaliatory tariffs. What you hit us with, we'll hit you back. However your tariffs affect our economy, we'll give you the same tariff back.
That wasn't actually tariffs. That was actually confusing to investors because it was some kind of other formula, and the countries themselves seemed kind of random. Like, why are the Heard and McDonald Islands, which don't export to the United States and are quite literally inhabited by penguins, why do they face a 10% tariffs? Did you use AI to generate this?
Huh?
No. The idea is
why are they on the list?
Left off, because the idea, what happens is if you leave anything off the list, the countries that try to basically arbitrage America go through those countries to us. Any country, like we had tariffs.
You mean like they did with Vietnam? Yeah, like they were doing with Vietnam. How some countries would use Vietnam. Some companies would use Vietnam to, get past the China tariffs and American tariffs. Vietnam was essential for getting past tariffs. Get your product made in Vietnam, you get past some major tariffs. Crazy. But I see why they did. They're going like, yeah, we don't even want you guys to go nowhere. That's what he's pretty much saying. He's like, we don't even want you guys to start building in some random ass island so you can go get past tariffs. Yeah, we ain't doing that. Every country's gonna get a tariff because we don't want to have we don't want these corporations to go anywhere, have anywhere to run off to and find any loophole. And that makes sense because, well, corporations have done it before. Obviously. Let's make sure we double tap that screen and like the video, guys. All right, well, at least we got an answer.
President put tariffs on China, right, in 2018.
Let's hear that one again, though, because I'm not gonna lie. I guess it is true.
It's not the
it is true that we did just put a country in there that I guess have mainly penguins or whatever. It's like, all right, well, just in case these corporations want to run to that country, we'll have a tariff right there waiting for them.
Tariffs. It has nothing to do with tariffs. If they went to 0-0, they would go to 200 billion with us. We need to stop the ripoff, and 0-0 is the way.
I know, but we don't have 0-0, sir. We don't have 0-0, actually, because when we saw the president stand in the Rose Garden holding up that chart that you helped make, that wasn't actually tariffs. That was actually confusing to investors.
I'm sorry. What are you talking, lady? If it says we're putting a 10% tariff, 20, 30, whatever, that's a tariff. Like, what are you talking about? We're putting a tariff on their imported goods. Like, that's exactly what a tariff is. It's a tax on imports or exports, depending on how a government wishes to use it. So what are you talking about? That's exactly a tariff. Hold on, lady. I thought a tariff was a tax on the people. What happened to that ideology? Weird. Now you're talking about it a little different.
Because it was some kind of other formula, and the countries themselves seemed kind of random. Like, why are the Heard and McDonald Islands, which don't export to the United States and are quite literally inhabited by penguins, why do they face a 10% tariffs? Did you use AI to generate this?
McDonald's.
No,
Never
no.
even
The
heard of that
idea,
till
look,
now.
the idea is
Why
that there
are
are
they
no
on the
countries
list?
left off. Because the idea, what happens is if you leave anything off the list, the countries that try to basically arbitrage America go through those countries to us. Any country, like we had tariffs, the president put tariffs on China, right, in 2018. And then what China started doing is they started going through other countries to America.
Right.
They just built through other countries through America. And so the president knows that, he's tired of it,
Now, Ben.
and he's going to fix that.
Now, Ben, trade deficit ratios. Now, we all know what a ratio is, right? So that means it would have to have some type of okay. I thought this was explained. Maybe we need to go to which my man Steven Crowder, because he actually explained. Yeah, he explained how the tariffs were pretty much formulated. So those were tariffs, but pretty much formulated under a different formula. It's not the formula that I guess everybody was expecting Trump to use with the retaliatory, but something different. So I'm not sure what you mean by trade deficit ratio, my friend. Because yeah, and those are clearly what he said are tariffs. That's why I'm not sure where you're getting trade deficit ratio from, but it was calculated using a different formula.
So basically, he said, look, I can't let any part of the world be a place where China or other countries can ship through them. So he ended those loopholes, these ridiculous loopholes. And now what he's trying to say is, I'm going to fix the trade deficit of the United States of America. It's a national security issue. We need to make medicine. We need to make semiconductors. We need to make ships. We need to have steel and aluminum. Come on, we need the greatness of America to actually be built in America. And he's tired of getting ripped off by the rest of the world.
Okay, but just to be clear, April 9th, the so-called retaliatory tariffs, the reciprocal tariffs, I should say, are those coming or are they open to negotiation?
The tariffs are coming. He announced it, and he wasn't kidding. The tariffs are coming. Of course they are.
Okay. Is the administration considering any kind of offset, any kind of subsidy? You mentioned the first administration, there was some bailout to farmers to help them deal with the pain from Chinese retaliation. Are you looking at that now?
Well, little did she know. Here's the thing, tariffs generate money. So yes, a lot of these countries honestly make money off tariffs. Yes, tariffs can also be, our government used to be funded off tariffs. So it's not like these tariffs are all the way a bad thing. And because Trump did use tariffs that he put on China to help farmers. I mean, we can use tariffs as a way to subsidize some of these corporations. And especially our farmers. But our farmers shouldn't have any trouble since, they're going to be the main they're going to be the main thing everybody go to. I mean, they're damn near losing competition. And the fishermen.
Not that I have not participated in any meetings with respect to that. The country is focused on, you realize trillions of dollars of factories are going to be built in America. That's huge GDP. The factories being built in America are huge.
That takes
GDP.
Years. And you've said that robots are going to fill those jobs. So those aren't union
it's really automated
jobs.
It's automated factories, but the key is who's going to build the factories, who's going to operate the factories, who's going to make them work. Great American workers. We are going to replace
on other
the
networks.
armies of millions of people.
Nah, lady, it's kind of like this. All right, bet. Amazon, they utilize robots at their facilities. These robots literally go out there and pick the product for them and they bring it to, I guess, workers to sort them out. So yeah, there is a way where we can work side and side with AI and robots and still have a job. Like, trust me, ask Amazon, they're able to get it done. I believe other companies as well, but Amazon is the only place where I heard of them doing it.
Well, remember, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones, that kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated, and great Americans, the trade craft of America, is going to fix them, is going to work on them. They're going to be mechanics. There's going to be HVAC specialists. There's going to be electricians. The trade craft of America, our high school educated Americans, the core to our workforce is going to have the greatest resurgence of jobs in the history of America to work on these high-tech factories, which are all coming to America. That's what's
Are
going
you
to build
concerned
our
that
next generation of America.
Are you concerned in the time it will take for a company to move to America that it will benefit China in the immediate term, that other markets will look to other suppliers instead of dealing with the United States?
That is ridiculous. The problem is everyone in the world
Nah,
sells
that is. Hold on. She just said.
America.
Are you concerned in the time it will take for a company to move to America that it will benefit China in the immediate term, that other markets?
I mean, lady, do you know about China's market? Do you know about China? Like, China was hinging off the fact that they import so much products to us. Their economy is import based. When you cut off their best customer, that hurts. Yeah, that hurts. When Apple leaves them and comes over here, it kind of lets them know something like, hold on. So I guess we can find a way to make it expensive for Apple, even though they're able to get an iPhone made for $14. I guess we can make that price crazy on them if we wanted to. And I think Apple caught the word. It's like, hold on. Tariffs. Like, if you don't think tariffs affect corporations, then why are corporations jumping to America? So yeah, y'all got to think a little more deeply about this.
Markets will look to other suppliers instead.
Don't just put it on as a tax on the people, because that's not necessarily what it is. I mean, honestly, it's like a tax you can avoid, because if there's a tariff on a product and it's imported, well, then just go buy the American-made version of it. There you go.
Instead of dealing with the United States.
That is ridiculous. The problem is everyone in the world sells to us. Our economy is the consumer of the world.
Yeah.
We are the only one with a trade deficit. The rest of the world has a trade surplus. Why does Europe have a trade surplus? Is there something about Europe that's special? Seriously, are they a different world than we are? Why are they selling $200 billion a year
Mr. Secretary.
more to us? It's because it's not fair. The rules are made not fair, and President Trump is going to fix them, and he's doing it for America, and he's doing it for your children and mine and our grandchildren. This is the moment that the United States of America takes hold of itself, and Donald Trump's been talking about this his whole life. This is Donald Trump's agenda, and we are all here to help him execute it.
And we will take him at his word quite literally. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, I know, but, give it some time. Like, man. I mean, you're not even letting my man get a couple of days. I mean, what was it? Schumer saying, what was it? The person said, so should we give Trump some time? Like, what length of time should we give Trump to let these tariffs work? He was like, none. I'm like, bro. Bruh. So y'all just impatient. Y'all just want to have everybody put the rush on it. Yeah, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. But all right, man, let's get into, let's see Treasury Secretary Bassett. No, I actually like his interviews.
And joining me now is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Secretary Bessent, welcome back.
But before we get into this, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, man. I appreciate the support, by the way. Let's keep it going.
To meet the press.
It's good to see you.
It's great to have you back after a very big week. Let's start with the market reaction to President Trump's.
And Ben, I'm looking at this, my man, Ben. I'm looking at it, dog, and I'm looking at the list and it says, yes, U.S. discounted reciprocal tariffs. So those are tariffs. I'm not sure where you got that from, my man, but yeah, these are tariffs.
Announcement of his tariffs, as I just laid out at the top of the program, the markets lost more than $6 trillion in value. Was this disruption always part of the plan, Mr. Secretary?
Look, Chris, markets are organic, the animals, and you never know what the reaction is going to be. One thing that I can tell you as the Treasury Secretary, what I've been very impressed with is the market infrastructure, that we had record volume on Friday, and everything is working very smoothly. So the American people, they can be very take great comfort in that. And in terms of the market reaction, look, we get these short-term market reactions from time to time. The market consistently underestimates Donald Trump. I remember that in 2016, the night President Trump won, the market crashed. And it turned out he was going to be the most pro-business, president in over a century, maybe in the history of the country. And we went on to very high after inflation returns for the next 4 years.
Well, but this was the biggest two-day crash since the pandemic. The president on Saturday urging people, quote, to hang tough, saying it won't be easy. And I guess the big question on people's minds, Mr. Secretary, how difficult is it going to be? And how long are Americans going to have to hang tough?
Well, again, I reject that assumption. There doesn't have to be a recession. Who knows how the market is going to react?
No, honestly, like I said, everybody keep remembering that. Y'all say, oh, the market's just going to keep going down. I mean, the market runs off human behavior. That's one of the many mysteries of the market. And Ben, like, all right, come on, bro. We all know what the definition of a tariff. Now, you're saying it's an import, export / export, and that's not a tax. Now, is he still going to put a tax on imports? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So he's still going to put the tariff, and the tariff is what? Yes, a tax on imports. So I'm a little bit confused on your wording here.
In a day, in a week, what we are looking at is building the long-term economic fundamentals for prosperity that I think the previous administration had put us on a course toward financial calamity.
But it's just in terms of the uncertainty, I think, that people are feeling and seeing. And President Trump saying he wants people to hang tough, acknowledging there's going to be what he has described as a short period of pain. Can you help provide some clarity for folks? How long will this period of uncertainty be? Are we talking about weeks? Are we talking about months? Are we talking about years?
Again, this is an adjustment process. We saw with President Reagan when he brought down the great inflation and we got past the Carter malaise, that there was some choppiness at that time, but he held the course, and we're going to hold the course. And this has been years in the building. Years in the making. This unsustainable system, our trading partners have taken advantage of us. We can see that through the large surpluses. We can see this through the large budget deficits. And also, Chris, this is a national security problem, which we saw during COVID. We saw during COVID that optimal supply chains are not resilient. And what I could say is, the only good outcome from COVID is it was a beta test for what would happen if our supply chains got broken. And President Trump has decided that we cannot be at risk like that for our crucial medicines, for semiconductors, for shipping.
Yeah, I know. And that's why we pretty much brought some of the business from Taiwan to America. So yes, America will be building its own semiconductors. I mean, shout out. But one of the things that the liberal news don't want to tell you.
And we are going to move forward so the American people can know that they are going to have a more secure future. And yet,
President Trump promised that he was going to improve the economy starting on day one. He said prices are going to come down. More than 160 million Americans, Mr. Secretary, as you know, are invested in the market. Many of them have spent their lives saving for their retirement. What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
I mean, are you going to retire next week? Are you retiring in life savings? Hold on, sis. Hold on. Now, if you're talking about people 401ks, I get you right there. But life savings, you wildin'. But now, if we're talking about your 401k, yeah, don't worry. The market's going to bounce back. And let's be real. We was in a way worse situation under Biden. I believe if y'all seen the post I made, that was a real market check. It's like, bro, we were way worse under Biden. The fact is that we're actually looking up. But hey, these tariffs came out at this time, and the liberal media want to, put a snapshot on the economy. And then as if, we don't count that in quarters. Yes, we count the economy in quarters. We look at it every 3 months, and then we go from there. When, companies give out dividends and drop their earnings report, yes, that's the best snapshot of the economy you can get is when the quarter ends. Not, 2 days into Trump's tariffs. No, that's not how it works.
I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think the don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. And, in fact, most Americans don't have everything in the market. Most Americans in a 401k have what's called a 60-40 account. That is 60 of 40 accounts that are down 5 or 6% on the year. People have a long-term view. They have a program. That the reason the stock market is considered a good investment is because it's a long-term investment. If you look day to day.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, when do we start looking at the stock market like it's cryptocurrency? Bruh. Like it could just shoot up any day now. It's like, nah, it's the stock market has always been a long-term like investment. Bro, you don't put in money on stock and then expect a huge return the next day. It was never like that for your 401k either. So it is a bit funny how everybody's now kind of thinking of stocks like it's a cryptocurrency. And I know that's not actually how you think about stocks, of course, but that's the way you're looking at it by a day-by-day thing when it was never meant to be looked at like that. It's a quarter-by-quarter thing. Usually people decide to pull out of stocks when, at the end of the quarter, when they drop their earnings report, they're going like, okay, yeah, the news has been going around and y'all been losing profit. And I'm looking by here, it's true. Not 2 days into, Trump's tariffs. That's not how you read the market.
Day, week to week, it's very risky. Over the long term, it's a good investment.
President Trump's tariff.
And shout out to my man, Fox Chase. He says, "Set, all they can do now is cry because the stocks are low at the moment because the biggest boom is coming. This is their moment to bash Trump. It doesn't reverse instantly, and they know it. Soon they'll get shut up though. Soon you'll get shut up. I ain't gonna lie. Soon y'all will shut the F up. And I'm gonna tell you why you're gonna shut the F up. Because some people are smart. Some people smart and they're gonna take advantage. Let me go ahead and buy stocks while they're on discount. And trust me, if you're man, I remember I talked to a trader before. They have a very unique mindset. Everybody else see the stocks down. Their mindset is everything's on discount. I mean, trust me, even I'm a bit mystified by it, but that's how these guys think. And they're knowing that, well, don't worry, it's down now, but when it shoots up, as it always do, we're going to be in a good place. I mean, every time we had a recession, there was a shoot up. Every time we had a bad time, there's going to be a shoot up. So it's kind of funny now how everybody's just thinking that, oh, no, we're just going to be down in the pits forever. I mean, dude, that's what we were gonna be with Kamala Harris. Y'all was gonna be okay with that. So I don't know if y'all really have the right to talk.
Tariffs are being described as the biggest tax hike on Americans in decades. They could cost the average household thousands of dollars. Republican Senator Ted Cruz had this to say. I'm going to play it. Get your reaction on the other side.
Tariffs are a tax on consumers, and I'm not a fan of jacking up taxes on American consumers.
Do you acknowledge that President Trump's tariff?
I mean, damn, can I hear my whole man's speech? Like, damn, all we got was 5 seconds.
Tariffs will cause prices to go up on a range of goods.
Well, Kristen, what I like is data. And if we look at data from President Trump's first term, and there's a big study that just came out from a group of economists, mostly at MIT, that showed that a 20% tariff on China led to a 0.7% tax or price level increase over 4 years. I think that's pretty good. If we can take in 20% in tariffs and it's a 0.7% increase. And Kristen, the little publicized story this week, everyone wants to look at the stock market going down. You know what else went down? Oil prices went down almost 15% in 2 days.
Yes,
which
it did.
Impacts working Americans much more than the stock market does. Interest rates hit their low for the year. So I'm expecting the mortgage applications to pick up.
Well, just to be very clear, though, I mean, during President Trump's first terms, the cost to Americans was nearly $80 billion in new taxes due to his tariffs. Prices did go up on everything from washing machines to tires.
Well, no. But let's go back. The aggregate number was 0.7. So we can discern the individual things. Also, households saw real net wages go up.
Yeah.
So if wages,
you're talking to the Treasury Secretary. So he's been looking at the market. You can't get no BS past him. That's why I like when he talks about things, because he's like, no. He's Denver Smarter. He's like, I ain't gonna let you say that now. It's like, yeah, prices went up, but so did everybody's wages. So it evened out. Now, under Biden, no wages went up, but prices sure did.
go up faster than prices, which is not what happened over the past 4 years.
Yeah.
That's why the bottom 50% got eviscerated.
Let me ask you about your view, because last January you wrote that, quote, tariffs are inflationary. The Fed chair said the same thing on Friday, that tariffs announced this week cause higher inflation. Have you expressed any concerns to President Trump directly that his tariff policy could be inflationary?
No, what I've said is tariffs are a one-time price adjustment. So there's a big difference between insipid endemic inflation within the system and consistent price level increases and a one-time adjustment. But the other thing that we're doing is we are raising wages for working Americans. We're bringing down regulation. So there are estimates that regulations have cost the average household about $8,000.
And here's the thing, like, because when y'all don't understand it, yes, wages went up. I mean, I went from seeing, and this is my younger years, I like, bro, I went from seeing factories only pay like what, $11.75 to the standard being like 15 in a year. And by the end of Trump's presidency, the standard was like $20 an hour. So yeah, if you're being honest with yourself, wages did rise. And y'all know that. Y'all know that. He's like, S.E.T, let them know on Americans are, man, let's shout out. He says, S.E.T, let them know on Americans, we always in a trade deficit while all the other countries are in trade surpluses. Yeah. I mean, you ever wonder why we're in $1 trillion deficit? Because somebody got to be winning. I mean, think about it. We're losing out on trade. We're not really doing too much imports into other countries. Some, like I said, other countries have high tariffs. Canada, it's been proven that it has a 200% plus tariff on dairy products. Bro, apples, bro, it's been proven that we ain't put no tariffs on nobody else's apples, but people with tariffs on ours. People have import bans on some of our products. Do you think this is that's fair trade? That's fair trade. No, we're fair to other countries and they're unfair to us, and we've been letting them get away with it for too long. And here's the problem. This is why these countries are lashing out, yelling, kicking, and screaming, because they've been making money off us and the money train stopping.
Dollars that when we get this tax
bill. Shout out to my man Fox Chase, man. Hold up. Whoop. There we go.
We are raising wages for working Americans. We're bringing down regulation. So there are estimates that regulations have cost the average household about $8,000. That when we get this tax bill through, then we will make the tax levels permanent. And again, the drop in the energy prices, the drop in interest cost, I think real after-tax wages are going to go up for Americans, and that's what's important.
One of the big questions and points of confusion, I think, is, are these tariffs permanent or are they a negotiating tactic? Some administration officials have said they're permanent. President Trump himself has said he's open to negotiating. So let me just ask you, is President Trump willing to negotiate, or are these tariffs permanent?
Well, I think that's going to be a decision for President Trump, but I can tell you that as only he can do at this moment, he's created maximum leverage for himself. And more than 50 countries have approached the administration about lowering their non-tariff trade barriers, lowering their tariffs, stopping currency manipulation. And Chris, they've been bad actors for a long time, and it's not the kind of thing you can negotiate away in days or weeks.
You yourself have said that he's using these for negotiating. He has told me directly he's open to negotiating. So just very clearly,
I mean, you gotta let these countries feel the pain, and they are going to feel the pain. That's just the fact of the matter. I mean, bro, we're cutting off our imports to some of these countries, okay? And we're cutting away their exports. They're missing out on they're going to be missing out on some money here. And here's the thing: if they keep importing in here, I mean, it's a tariff, so that means we're making money off it. Not too bad.
For the American people, can you say definitively, is he planning to negotiate? Has he already started negotiations with countries?
I think we're going to have to see what the countries offer and whether it's believable. Because again,
so he's open to it, is what I hear you say.
No. Is I think that we are going to have to see the path forward, because after 20, 30, 40, 50 years of bad behavior. You can't just wipe the slate clean.
All right, let me ask you about one of the big questions.
I mean, these guys have been getting away with these shenanigans on trade for years. So it's going to be pretty hard to get these guys to pretty much just, well, give that up. Like I said, we got countries who are making $30 billion off us, and we're telling them, yeah, that's going to stop. What do you think they're going to do? I mean, they're going to try to go out there and say, oh, no, you guys are wrong. This is not how you do trade. Oh, we're y'all friends. How can you do this to us? Really? Y'all friends? But you got import bans and tariffs on our products. But you guys are our friends, though. Funny, real funny.
Recession, as you know, analysts say the chances of a recession are rising in the wake of the tariffs announced this week. Do you believe that President Trump's tariffs are risking the chances of a recession?
I don't. And I think we could see from the jobs number on Friday that was well above expectations that we are moving forward. So I see no reason that we have to price in a recession.
Okay. Before I let you go, I know you've been one of the officials spearheading the efforts to get President Trump's budget bill passed on Capitol Hill. It includes the president's plans for tax cuts, extending the 2017 tax cuts, for example. Are you confident that the president's budget bill will pass before the August recess?
We are shooting for even a much earlier date. And Chris and I can tell you the underreported story in D.C. is, it's fun from our side of the aisle to watch the Democratic chaos, but the underreported story is the Republican unity. And Speaker Johnson has done an incredible job with a small minority. He got reconciliation instructions out on the first try. He got a clean continuing resolution. Speaker Thune, the Senate issued the reconciliation instructions. So things are moving very quickly. Very quickly. President Trump called on the Fed chair to lower interest rates. Do you think that Fed Chair Jerome Powell should lower interest rates? I think that when we see inflation dropping, that the Fed will do what it always does and lower rates. But in the meantime, what we can control is the longer term rate, the 10-year rate, which hit a new low on Friday. That's where mortgages are priced. That's where long-term capital formation is priced. And
I always found it strange how our whole Federal Reserve is like a separate entity outside of the United States that controls our money. Isn't that kind of weird? But hey, it is what it is. All right, guys, let's get on to the next video because we got another interview with what's his name? NATO member. What's his name again? Okay, yeah, NATO chief Mark Rutte.
The Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, in Brussels. Good morning to you, sir.
Rutte.
Good morning. Good to be on the program.
Well, you've been a busy man this week, and I know NATO is a defensive alliance. It's not a trade alliance. And you and Secretary Rubio have repeatedly said this trade war is not impacting NATO. But respectfully, how could this tension between allies not have any impact? And are you concerned at all that European countries will move towards other, perhaps cheaper markets like China?
Well,
you think China go by? Bruh. These people don't know China. China is an import-based economy. It don't accept exports. So if you guys want to replace the money that you guys were getting off us with China, I mean, bro, y'all are in for a rude awakening. I almost feel sorry for you. You think China's gonna buy you? Bro, China only sells. They don't buy.
I'm not saying it doesn't have an impact on individual allies, but it does not have an impact on the alliance. There, Marco Rubio and I are.
I'm sorry, I was taken back by that one. I'm like, do we not know China's government history? That's all they do is import. They don't buy nothing, bro. Like they buy a couple of things, but trust me, they don't buy too much. China imports way more than it gets in exports, way more than they buy. They sell way more than they buy. That is something that you guys should not depend on. But a shout out to my man Fox. He said, support S.E.T and like the video, share and throw a super chat. We got to support each other. Liberals always support each other, and we have to do the same, man. No, shout out to my man Fox. Nah, fact, that's true. Hey, man. Hey, now, liberals, they cheat. I mean, bro, that dude, Harry Sissy, It's like the dude got government backing. He got Biden support, bro. He was getting paid $200K to lie for Biden. When that man Biden fumbled the entire debate, he literally hopped on Pierce and said, "What you mean? He did good. It was just a bad day." I'm like, bro, you got to pay a man heavy money to do that type of lying. And guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video.
Are on the same page because the alliance is focused on making sure we can fight the Russian threat. We can make sure that we can bring Ukraine as much as possible collectively under US leadership to a durable and lasting peace. And that is our laser focus over the last couple of days.
George Marshall, in Europe, you know, the man who was responsible for the Marshall Plan and helping to rebuild after World War II, linked economic health to political stability and peace. Don't these tensions make your job a little bit harder?
To be honest, I don't believe so. Yes, you're right. There are tensions between allies because of this tariff question. But this is not concerning the alliance as a whole, because there will be potentially impact on the economies, but not to an extent that it will impact our collective defense. That's my firm conviction.
Okay, because there is this request from the United States and a call you have made yourself to increase spending on defense, right? So the next summit is now going to be held in June, and leaders there are expected to hike the military budget spending goal from 2% to 3%. The Trump administration wants it all the way up to spending about 5% on a country's own defense. So you're asking for that. At the same time, the United States is repairing its relationship with Russia. How do you convince members to spend more to counter the threat from Russia at a time when the U.S. is going closer to it and the U.S. is putting economic pressure on Europe?
Well, first on the US-Russia question, what Trump has done since he came into office is break the deadlock when it comes to this terrible war in Ukraine, because we've got to stop the killing. We've got to stop the fighting. And I commend him for that. And I must say, allies here in the last couple of days meeting with foreign ministers are fully supporting the US effort to bring this war to a fair and durable and lasting end. And we have to see how far we can get. But I mean, the fact that day and night the American administration is working on that is important. And then when it comes to defense spending, the last couple of months, here in the European side of NATO, it is staggering the amounts of billions coming in. You have to compare this to the days of the Cold War, when you look at the overall defense spending now being ramped up in Europe. And we have to continue doing this because, as I said in December, if we would stick to the old 2%, we cannot defend ourselves here in 3 to 5 years. But with the billions, literally hundreds of billions coming in now from the Europeans, from for example, Germany, $500 billion, and so many other European allies, it's really impressive. And that will help us to, one, have a stronger NATO, because we spend more and we produce more. But secondly, also a NATO which is fair, because, and this is to President Trump's point, it means that we have more equality in terms of what you're spending on defense and what we are spending here on the European side of NATO on defense. And we need that to become more lethal as an organization.
But at the same time that President Trump is calling for a peace deal in Ukraine, there is this parallel, separate effort to repair America's relationship with Russia. Reopening diplomatic facilities is being discussed. Just this week, Kirill Dmitriev, an ally of President Putin who's under sanctions, was here in Washington meeting with Steve Witkoff. As you know, he said in television interviews the U.S. and Russia could work together on counterterrorism in the Arctic and develop rare earths in Russia together. So doesn't the U.S. getting closer to Russia undercut your efforts to counter Russia?
Well, I'm not sure I completely would share your assessment on what the US and Russia are doing.
I mean, here's the thing. I thought the purpose of NATO was to make sure Russia don't expand, not make sure that Russia can't do business. So, that doesn't go against their initiative.
At the moment, and of course, I'm not in the room when all these talks take place, but what I'm seeing from a distance and hearing from my American colleagues, and all, including the president, whom I visited.
But all right, though, let's get past this one and let's go to this one right here. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one way better.
Former Secretary Howard Lutnick, you've been through.
Get back to that
You've
man.
been through a lot over the years, Howard. Very seasoned, obviously. But today's move, is it unexpected for you? About right? I mean, you saw Monday was kind of like a bonus, the way it turned around, and but when it finally did happen, and we got the numbers, was this reaction? Is it overdone, you think, or about what you thought?
Well, I think the long term or even the medium term, you've got to expect the United States of American markets are going to do extremely, extremely well. I understand the reordering of the rest of the world's markets, but they have been taking advantage of the trading policy, the markets policy. All the policies of the United States of America were designed to make you rich and make us poor. You know, take our factories from us, go build elsewhere. I mean, imagine this. Why are all of our pharmaceutical products, the ingredients to our pharmaceutical products, made in Asia? That's not cheap labor. That's just a failed policy that lets the rest of the world gut America. And that's what Donald Trump is here to address, and he's going to change it.
Here's the crazy thing: like, we might as well make our own pharmaceuticals, because the pharmaceutical companies charge us more so they can charge the world less. I mean, here's the thing: we support the world in more than just trade at deficits. Trust me, some of these corporations find a way to make us support the world as well, and I don't like it. But hey, if we can go ahead and get some pharmaceuticals made back here, perfect. It just means that in Ireland, you're gonna get hit with some stuff. Unless, you know, these pharmaceutical companies want to bring it back here.
And he's going to protect America for our children and our grandchildren.
Hey, Secretary, who came up with the equation that we've shown? I know it's hard to
everybody
to get a clean number.
I mean, come on now, everybody getting hit. Everybody's getting hit. Okay, it's not just us.
For tariffs plus all the other things that you would constitute as unfair trade, whether it's currency manipulation or regulations or whatever. But there is some, I don't know if I'd call it confusion, but there's some downright derision about using a trade deficit imbalance and then subtracting it and, you know, putting it over another and coming up with some of these what look like almost arbitrary numbers taken. There it is. Did you come up with that? I don't know if you had.
Well, I feel like there was bullshit. It's like, okay, I see where y'all going with this.
It had advanced calculus or something.
All right, the council, stop. The Council of Economic Advisors, right, coupled with the United States Trade Representative, they have huge staffs of economists who study this and have been studying this for years. They put out the non-tariff trade barriers. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was talking to a trade minister of a big country, and I said, look, we can't sell cars in your market. You've got to do something to change that. It's obviously unfair. And at the very end of the conversation, the trade minister dropped his head and said these words. He said, fine, we will provide your car manufacturers the same subsidy we provide ours. Just think about that for a minute. So you've got all these countries.
Like I'm saying, they play hardball and they think that we don't know our value. And that's what these countries are betting on, that the American people do not know their value. Trust me, this country's more valuable than you know. I mean, we're the global superpower for a reason. And these countries need us for more than just military defense. Trust me, way more than that.
They charge a VAT or a consumption tax. What do they do with that tax? If they turn around and sell really cheap energy to their steel company, then their steel companies destroy ours, put ours out of business, and then all of the steel goes elsewhere, and we can't defend ourselves in a war. If they take that and give it back as a subsidy to their car manufacturer, then their car manufacturer actually has a cost of $40,000 when our car manufacturer has $50,000. And of course, we're never going to sell a car. So this is the reordering of fair trade. And what happens is people think it's all about tariffs. It's about those non-tariff trade barriers.
Well, it'd be nice
That's what we are addressing Now,
It'd be nice if everybody on that list, all those countries said, you know what? We've seen the error in our ways, and we're going to go 0-0. We want to make it fair across the board. But how likely is that? How soon do you expect to see some concessions? Or conversely,
well, some of these countries can't afford this, tariff on their imports. So, yeah, a lot of them are going to bend the knee quickly. Some of them are going to hold out a little longer, but a lot of them are going to come around.
Retaliatory tariffs, which just cause this to go much longer than anyone probably wants, to be more costly, and could be a full-scale trade war if it goes that way. Which are you expecting?
I expect most countries to start to really examine their trade policy towards the United States of America and stop picking on us. Stop saying that we can't sell our corn to India. Stop saying that we can't sell our beef anywhere. Just stop treating us so poorly. If we are the great consumer of the earth, the United States buys everybody's products. We buy everybody's goods.
That's why, bro, we spend 1.2 trillion on everybody's goods.
Oh shit!
That's what the trade deficit means. It means we spend 1.2 trillion on everybody else's goods.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Just have to treat us.
And here's the thing: some of this stuff we can make ourselves, like without even honestly blinking. But it does seem like the American consumer basis is taking over, and we kind of need to switch it because it's not a good base to be. Like I said, walking ourselves off an economic cliff, and we got to balance it out. We do have to balance this out. We got to be an export. We got to be good at exporting and be good at buying stuff as well. It's like we can't. I'm sorry, but we got to be good at imports and exports. We just can't be overly getting our exports in, but then we don't get to do any imports, or we're over here buying everybody else's products, but everybody else can put a ban on ours or just put a high tax and make our product unfavorable.
Fairly,
can't do that.
And that is the problem. So some countries, which have these VATs and they use these VAT taxes to, they basically subsidize their domestic production. Right. That's got to really be balanced. We've got to figure that out together. But what you're going to see is you're going to see tariff rates decline. You're going to see the opening of all of these global markets to our agriculture, to our ranchers, to our fishermen. You're going to see American production start to rise and finally be fair. And I think that we have Stockholm.
Think about it. We buy the world shrimp, but nobody in the world buy our shrimp, or they got import bans on our seafood. That's ridiculous.
Syndrome was so used to being abused. And Donald Trump's been talking about this for 35 years.
Mr. Secretary, in terms of the suggestion that we're being abused or being fair, what would you say to the United Kingdom? Or what would you say to Australia, where we have a trade surplus, where they could look at us and say, we're the winners of that competition, and yet we are going to tariff them?
Man, shut the hell up. All right, what's your trade deficit? Because it's less than 1 trillion. I know that. Y'all about 300 billion in the trade deficit, I believe. And that's, I think, the entire European Union, or I think it's UK. But y'all about a 300 billion deficit. We're on 1 trillion. Please, y'all are okay compared to us.
Well, look, they each have the lowest rate available, right? I mean, if you really dissect these the trade numbers that are made publicly, I mean, the United Kingdom, part of their trade surplus is that they have the London Metals Exchange, and they count the importing of bullion. I mean, come on. So, I mean, if you really dissect these things, you realize they have a 20% VAT, okay, and these things, but they work hard.
So we don't have a trade surplus with them. They're raping us too.
Hmm?
Well, they have a. If you looked at them and really studied it, you'd see they have a goods deficit with us, right? And Australia buys a lot of our planes, which we really appreciate. But we're really looking at the production for people to get jobs. So the stuff with Mexico and Canada.
Because I mean, if we open up, think about these countries open up drop their import bans and let in our products. I mean, that's a big demand right there. I mean, our products are wanted globally. That means these guys got to produce more business means they're going to need more workers. It's as easy as that. Like I said, once these guys drop the BS, I mean, really a whole lot of opportunity is going to open up.
I'd really like to talk about, because USMCA is still in place. So if you make a car in America and the parts are made in Canada or Mexico, there is no tariff. The auto parts business of Canada and Mexico are not being touched. Energy prices are not being touched. You know, people need to understand we did not today, semiconductors are not included. Pharmaceuticals are not included. Donald Trump's going to deeply study those, and those are going to come later on how to reshore from Taiwan, all that semiconductor manufacturing. We have to protect ourselves at some point, right? America has to be able to protect itself. We can't have everything. I mean, think about it. All of our electronics are primarily built in Taiwan. It used to be built here. Our policies let Taiwan take it all. And now 9,000 miles away, our way of life is being built. And Donald Trump is saying, come on, that's got to be here. That's why you've got Apple announcing it's going to do $500 billion in production here. I mean, think about it. We all hold our iPhones, which we love.
And here's the thing, though. Somehow, I mean, like I said, right, they're able to pay their people like 14 an hour. Well, Apple's able to get these kids to work at 14 and possibly pay them, I don't know, maybe like cents on the dollar or whatever. And it's kind of crazy how they're able to get away with this. But hey, that's China. But somehow through tariffs, we're able to beat child labor and low wage workers. Like, I mean, come on now. Like I said, these guys probably paying them like $1 or $3 an hour. And with tariffs, we're able to beat that. It was appetizing enough for Apple to come over here. That says a lot.
Why do they have to be made in Taiwan and China? Why can't those be made with robotics in America? And you know what Donald Trump has said? They're going to be made in America.
Secretary Lutnick, there have been questions raised already about whether a company like Apple would be able to get a carve out from this because they have promised to build more in the United States. The market's trying to figure out how permanent these tariffs are going to be if there is a negotiation taking place. Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, said yesterday that we may have to let these sit for a while, but I'd also heard that you'd been in charge of already negotiating with some countries, maybe giving them wish lists to say, here's what it would take to get these tariffs reduced or removed. Is that the case? And if so, which countries are you negotiating with?
We're talking with all of the major countries of the world, and we've been talking to them for more than a month. This has been coming. We've said it's been coming. The key is, will they take our agricultural products? Will they treat us fairly? Can they treat us fairly? And the answer is, over time, that is going to be yes.
They have no
American products are going to be better sold elsewhere in the world. But the fact remains we are treated unfairly, and they have built structurally into their markets this unfairness. The subsidies to their steel companies, the subsidies to their car companies. That's why we don't do well. Did you ever think about why we don't sell cars in Europe, why we don't sell cars in Japan or Korea?
Like, there's a whole lot of BMWs, Mercedes. I see people in foreign cars all the time, but I don't see people in Europe in, well, American cars, which would honestly be considered a foreign car. Like, if you had a Chevy in Europe, you're in a foreign car, basically.
Why we could never really sell cars. It was very difficult for us to sell cars in China. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. We can't sell corn. We can't sell beef. We can't sell cars because the rules are stacked against us. And I think it's interesting. It's time to change the rules and make the rules be stacked fairly with the United States of America. We need to stop supporting the rest of the world and start supporting American workers.
Let's take for instance, Australia, for instance, hit with a 10% tariff. They don't accept beef imports from the United States. That goes back to when they thought mad cow was going to be imported with some of those things. If they were to start taking American beef imports, would that be something that would get them an exemption? And how quickly do you think that could happen?
As quickly as they want it to happen. That's what I say. I'm like, you really can't ask him. You got to ask them. It's like, I'll be getting on the line with some of these prime ministers or these trade advisors of other countries and be like, all right, so how you about to talk to us now? Because you obviously see where this is going. Well, how you about to talk to us now? Trade advisor of, I don't know, Brazil, Argentina, trade advisor of not Israel, but Ireland, China. I think we should start talking to these guys instead of them, because I ain't gonna lie, we need answers from those. those guys that kind of control the whole trading policy in their country. But like I said, these guys are going to take a bigger hit than we ever will. And here's the thing. They need us more than we need them. Like I said, we can start producing our own stuff. These guys, though, they can't make up for the money that we've been spending with them. And they're going to have to find a way. And trust me, if they're going to try to, and if the strategy is to go to China, I mean, trust me, China got tariff barriers. They got trade barriers. You're not getting into there, but they'll give to you for sure. I mean, we know that.
I don't think the word exemption is going to be a factor. I don't think that's such a thing. I think what there's going to be is a world of fairness. Let's go try to figure out ways for the world to treat us more fairly and more properly. I don't think it's effective for the world to retaliate. I mean, those things are silly. We are the consumer of the world, right? Mm-hmm. We buy $20 trillion worth of goods, and we are basically the buyer of everybody else's in the world's items.
I mean, yeah, especially Canada. I mean, look, there's a reason why us putting tariffs on Canada or us low-key stop subsidizing Canada, not with like government subsidies, but we subsidize Canada through the business that we honestly willingly give them, like, you know, cars, and we kind of let them dominate their dairy market and all that good stuff. So here's the problem. If we stop business with Canada, they lose out on $500 billion. That's kind of what Trump means when we say we low-key subsidize these countries. There are countries with crazier trade deficits than Canada, ironically.
So what is
I believe they're at least in the top 3.
Point of them going higher so that we go higher? I mean, come on, look, he gave a 50% discount. What he's saying is, look, we need to rebuild American manufacturing base. We can't allow the United States of America to not produce steel. We can't allow the United States of America not to produce pharmaceuticals. We can't have a war where we can't get antibiotics and we have to call another country to make a missile or to make a plane. I mean, these are obvious things. We need to have domestic production. We need to employ Americans. And I think that is the model that Donald Trump is seizing on. We need to employ Americans for the good of the United States of America. Factories are coming back. And here's the key. Factories now can use robotics. And so American workers can be much more efficient with robotics. You're going to see the greatest surge in training for what we call tradecraft, teaching people how to be robotics mechanics, engineers, and electricians for high.
And that's what I was saying. It's like, all right, cool, because this is going to need to come with some training. Like, you're going to have to find a way to shift the entire economy towards robotics. So that's what we're going to do. And then you're going to have start employing guys to work on the robotics. Then we already started needing people to be trained on the job. Because trust me, if this is the type of economy we're going through, I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't got enough college graduates for all that. And it's going to have to be something that is, typically low skill, something you can easily teach.
Tech factories, HVAC, you think about your air conditioning system. No. When you build one of these great factories like an Apple factory, they use air conditioning to cool it. That is really high tech. It's a great paying job and it requires a high school education and training. And our Americans are ready for it. And you're going to see the greatest resurgence of factory building and factory production in America. This is our time, and it is time for us to rebuild it. And that's what Donald Trump is out to do. He's changing the way people think about production in America. It's time to stop exporting and time to stop taking all our factories and letting the rest of the world have them. It's time to bring them home.
Along with that, there sometimes are some unintended consequences. And if it's the biggest reset of the economy, U.S. and global economy since World War II, Howard, the stock market's one thing, and I can understand, we had 20% gains the last couple of years and it's done well. But there's other markets in a world order to think about in terms of currency moves and bond yields. And it does matter because we're interconnected. So I'm going to paint you a story just quickly. The dollar has declined significantly since the president came into office. What if that became disorderly? And I mean, Europeans have already lost a lot of money in the stock market, and even more with the euro appreciating. What if they got to the point where interest rates suddenly had to spike. The dollar started to go into free fall. Investment capital no longer came into the United States like it has been because there's a fundamental shift in the in the world order in terms of currency. Is there a Trump put there? Maybe there's not a Trump put on the stock market, but what about on a collapsing dollar?
It just can't happen. I mean, if you think about it, the United States is a 29 trillion.
That was the craziest doomsday scenario I ever heard. I'm like, all righty, hold on. Like, how would our dollar go into free fall? It's not like the plan is to print money outrageously.
$1 billion economy, and we are the consumer of $20 trillion of goods. Other countries are producers of goods, and we are the buyer of goods. So if you want to build your product, you're going to have to build it in America if you want to avoid these tariffs, or these countries have to fundamentally alter the way they do their business. Those two things going together are going to result in interest rates in the United States of America being much, much lower, high quality production jobs much, much higher, domestic production of huge amounts of factories. That's GDP. Right? Remember, when Donald Trump says
that's what we need. Hey, man, we need to be able to get these kids right out of high school and working on something. If it not be a trade, let it be college or the military, but let it be something productive, please.
So we've got $5 trillion of factories coming to America.
Don't
Think
matter.
of $5 trillion divided by his 4 years. That is huge GDP growth on factory building, which all of you are not yet thinking about. These factory commitments are going to create huge growth in America.
Mr. Secretary, that's the big question.
I'm telling you, it's like I've been brought up that point. I was like, from the day one, Trump said, no, they're building new factories. They're not just going to renovate. They said, we're building them. And if you ever seen they're building factories pretty damn quickly. Like I said, give it a year and it's already done. It's like crazy. But yes, that's going to create a boom in construction. It's like, shoot, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it might take a 2 years due to how much projects might be popping up all over the place.
I wanted to ask you about factory commitments. And one of the things that I was speaking to a whole number of CEOs yesterday who need to actually make some decisions. And the question is, how soon do they make those decisions? And they talk about what they think of as this game of chicken, a almost political game, which is to say they don't know whether these tariffs, which are being announced today, are going to be the same in a month, 2 months, 6 months, and more importantly, in 4 or 5 years, when in fact the factories that they would have to invest in today would be up and running. What do you say to that CEO who says, you know what, I'm actually going to I'll take a flyer and I'll.
And shout out to Jazz for work for the baller alert. And how you doing, sis? Oh no, there we go. Appreciate the support. She said, wasn't the 1920s booming? With the exception of the market crashing, it was a great time for the economy and stocks. I suspect Trump wants to take us to an era where we're booming. All this factory talk reminds me of this. Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly what had to happen. Now, there was other things that led to the depression, but yeah, you remember the roaring 30s? Yeah, it was the roaring 30s, I believe. Now, we did have that economic crash, but there's a lot of elements that went into that besides, what was it? These Harwell, I think it was a smooth Harwell tariffs. And there's a whole lot, there's a difference, okay? Because a lot of people like to bring up the recession. Oh, there was tariffs used during the recession. That was the cause. No, it was not. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, yeah, you can blame the tariffs, but you can also blame the Fed as well and other factors. But come on now, let's be fair. We're definitely using tariffs in a way different fashion than what they were using them back in the 30s.
Wait a year or two.
And shout out Jazz. Appreciate you.
See how this all plays out before I do anything, which also means that we're going to have a real freeze in terms of investment.
I think you're going to see, and we've been feeling it every day.
Bro, are you serious? I mean, bro, these investors are low-key excited. These guys are salivating at the mouth right now. Like, I'm telling you, they're going like, oh, no, please, drop a little bit more. I'm going to buy. I mean, I'm going to really buy. And then I'm going to swing trade the hell out of that. I mean, these guys think a little differently. Like, trust me, if you're really looking at the market, you're damn near salivating just because everything's on sale. it's looking good for them. So trust me, there's going to be a lot of investing behind the scenes. You're going to see people's net worth skyrocket out of nowhere. You be like, what happened? And they're going to tell you like, yeah, trust me. You know when tariffs went down? Yeah, I was buying the whole time.
That you're going to build in America, that this is a reordering of global trade, and it's really thoughtful. If you understood how rough these other countries are on American products, rough, and their tariffs are just like the tip of the iceberg. The classic, the rest of the iceberg below the water is so rough and so difficult. And they have subsidies and they have trade barriers, and you can't sell because if you lean 1 inch to the right or 1 inch to the left, oh, you're not allowed to sell. I mean, I tell the story. We made a deal in 2012 to take Korean cars. In exchange, they were going to take our produce and agriculture. And when McDonald's tried to bring in French fries, they actually said, we can't bring in the French fry. The American company can't bring in the French fries because we couldn't prove the origin of the potato. I am telling you, the rules of the world are so stacked against us that we are just...
Bro, I'd have looked at them with the straightest face in the world. Like, where the hell you think it came from? America? Like, the hell? Like, bro, hey, yo, I could only imagine getting told that over the phone. I just had the most straightest face, like, where the origins of the potato came from. I probably would have hung up the phone right there and then, like, this motherfucker playing with me, bro. Like, ain't no way he just said that. The origins, they didn't take it in because they did not know the origins of the potato. I'm like, I'd have said something smart ass as hell, like the ground.
Just the consumer of the world, and it's going to end. And once that ends, and once America wakes up to it, and now all of America is going to wake up to it, that everybody is going to build their factories here. Everybody's going to move their factories here. And America is going to become the producer of much, much more of what we consume. There will become a balance. Interest rates will be much, much lower. The United States of America will be much, much stronger. We are growing much too much like the rest of the world. Our growth rate should be double or triple them because we are the greatest economy and we are feeding the world. And Donald Trump would like to have America first. How about we feed America first? We start building these factories. You're going to start to see GDP, domestic production go up. We talk about buying foreign cars. That's consumption. That's not domestic production. We're going to start to see domestic production dramatically rise, and that's what Donald Trump is focused on.
Mr. Secretary, we've got a hard number. We've got, I think, a claims number coming at 8:30. You know, we got Friday and everything else, but we appreciate all the time you gave us this morning, and hope this.
All right. I think we're almost about done, you know, having Trump's people defend his tariffs. It's been straight tariff defense for about a couple of days. I'm going to leave you with this one right now.
Distribution of equities across households. The top 10% of Americans own 80.
Let's go. Shout out to Liberal Hive Mind. Let me give you out a full video.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I know what you're thinking. Really, another tariff video? Well, firstly, I mean, what else am I supposed to talk about?
I mean, no, for real, though. It's like, y'all, for real. I know, guys. We're sorry, but I mean, these liberals are giving us so much content. It's a daily freaking meltdown. It's like they're trying to talk to everybody in Trump's staff to try to get them to, like, slip up and say, oh, no, this might be a bad idea. It's like, nah, everybody's standing firm. We're standing 10 toes with the president right now. We have faith. All right, man. I mean, honestly, there's more than faith involved. We kind of just also understand what he's doing. But hey, if you don't have faith
about here. And secondly, I want to continue to highlight everything that the media is ignoring. They're having such a one-sided conversation in the mainstream media, and I view it as an opportunity and also my duty to highlight the points, the topics, and of course the conversations that the media seems to be purposely ignoring. And speaking of exactly that, boy, do I have an absolute doozy for you guys today. I got to tell you, Trump cabinet member Scott Bessent is really an impressive man. Him and Stephen Miller are absolutely killing it in delivering the Trump message. But I got this moment between Scott Bessent and Tucker Carlson that I think hits the freaking nail on the head. This is the message that needs to pierce through all of the noise that the media is making, all the Wall Street hissy fits. Forget the economists and the experts that are shrieking as the market dips. The American economy is not a stock ticker, it's people. And while it seems the Trump administration is saying it's time to shift that conversation, it's time to flip the script, let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so just take a look at this moment right over here as Tucker Carlson's mind is blown by what Scott Bessent has to say.
The distribution of equities across households, the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% owns 12% of the stock market. The bottom 50 has debt. They have credit card bills, they rent their homes, they have auto loans, and we've got to give them some relief. That I was struck by the statistic from last year.
That's the message right there. Just as a bystander, I'm like, wow, okay.
All right. Or that, you know, I like the examples, and I was really struck by two different statistics last year. Summer of 2024, Americans took more European vacations than they had in history. Summer of 2024, more Americans were using food banks.
I mean, yeah, I mean, trust me, when it's the poorest time, when things are going bad in the economy, it's kind of funny. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of people suffering, but then there's also a lot of people making money. It's a bit strange, but it is one of the mysteries of money, I like to say. It's like, damn, well, there's an economic turn down, but there's people getting richer. And I mean, not just the rich. I mean, yes, the rich gets richer, of course, but I'm talking about people will go from poverty line all the way up to rich. People will go from middle class to rich, all within a recession period or recession-like period
Than they ever have in history. I went into two food banks that near my hometown to ask, what's the story? And they said, you know, it really takes, for a lot of people, it's a loss of dignity to walk in a food bank.
Of course.
And,
actually,
but they were seeing something, a new phenomenon, that it wasn't their traditional clientele. It wasn't people who'd lost their homes. It wasn't people out on the street. These were working families who could no longer, you know, $100 at the grocery store, that basket of groceries every week, they were missing 5, 6, 7 things, and they were coming to the food bank to top up. So, you know, that's not a great America. Record European vacation, record food banks.
Yeah. You want to talk about a sick economy? The top 10% of Americans own 88% of the stock market. The next 40% have the scraps, just 12%, and the bottom 50% own nothing. In fact, it's worse than owning nothing. They carry debt. They're essentially economic hostages of this broken system. Of course, while Wall Street plays its little casino game with speculative AI stocks and inflated valuations backed by absolutely nothing. You know, that's what the people, I think, need to start understanding. This economy is a house of cards, a hallucination.
And shout out to my man Fox Chase. He says Doge might look into the, I ain't gonna lie to you, he said the FICA. Hey, nah, I heard that Doge also gonna look into why some of these like people like Nancy Pelosi got so rich. So yeah, we're about to start looking through Nancy Pelosi's trading stocks, or I guess her trading books, if she got them, or she ain't burned them already, or whatever she using, or however she found out about her lucky days in the market. Hey, we're gonna find out soon. But shout out to my man Fox Chase, man. Appreciate the support, brother.
Built on debt, fake numbers, and printed money. They call it the strongest economy in the world, yet more people are using food banks in 2024 than ever before.
I know, right? It was the best economy ever, but you know, gas prices are rising, affordability is at an all-time low, inflation's up, grocery prices are up. We're in the best economy ever, right? Right. That's what you were telling us.
More than any time in recent American history? Yeah, well, it's obvious what's happening, right? This economy isn't built for you, it's built for them. It's built for the elite ruling class that's selling you out. And that's a point I've been really trying to drive home, and I've been trying to describe, and hopefully I'm doing a good job at doing it. But just think about it logically. You know, sure, we're seeing record profits in the stock market. We're seeing record profits for all the multinational corporations. But are the American people really benefiting there? Of course not. Because what's happening? The jobs are being shipped overseas. The manufacturing process is shipped overseas. A lot of the raw materials coming from overseas. And so basically you have these massive companies that are leapfrogging the American workers. They're taking advantage of cheap labor abroad. They're sending money abroad, contracts abroad, and skimming off the top of those contracts. Meanwhile, the American American middle class is left dry, empty-handed, with nothing. Actually, I want to use this video. I think it's going to.
And I always just say, it's funny how the Democrats say, oh, no, we want the rich to pay their fair share and all this good stuff. But I'm like, you guys let the rich escape off out the country, and take more than their fair share and kind of leave American workers in the dust. So are you really for the middle class? Because if we was going to keep things going y'all way, we really was going to be screwed.
Going to help make the point.
Here's the reality that nobody's talking about. This lighter costs $25 in America to buy an American-made.
Oh, yeah, this is actually a pretty good video. Try to pay attention.
He handed with nothing. Actually, I want to use this video. I think it's going to help make the point.
Here's the reality that nobody's talking about. This lighter costs $25 in America to buy an American-made product. China makes one, sells it for $20 here in America. Out of that $20, $5 goes to whoever in America sells it. $15 of it goes back to China. You buy the $25 one in America, all $25 stays in America. So now we want to say, let's balance this out, and we're going to put a 50% tariff on Chinese goods. Now this lighter costs $30 to sell in the United States. Now you have the US made one at $25. It is cheaper. It's more expensive in the big picture, I get it, but it's now cheaper. So people are going to buy the American made one. 100% of the $25 that you spend stays in America, stays here. The demand increases for that business has to hire employees. When many businesses hire employees, that creates a supply shortage of employees, which make wages go up. Is this more expensive for the consumer in the short term? Yes. But you're getting a better product. You're getting a better product for your money, and the money is staying local. Okay. You're not funding these other countries and their businesses. That is the purpose behind all of this. Will we have a recession? Yes. Will prices go up in the short term? Yes. But the lagging effect is all of that money now stays here. It's not leaving the country, which gives us more money in the United States to go around. Of course, every nation in the world is going to say, we're being bad neighbors.
Yes, keeping wealth within the United States instead of sending it overseas.
And bad business partners. Well, of course, we've made them rich.
Exactly that. The money is being made by foreign countries, and then the very few wealthy elite in America who are soaking up those massive profit margins at the top. Meanwhile, the American worker is getting poorer and poorer and poorer and plays less of a role in the American economy. And it's funny because the left is always accusing Donald Trump of doing the bidding of him and his billionaire friends, right? Donald Trump and his billionaire friends. Well, don't you find it funny how his actual policy agenda has the billionaire class, the speculation class, the asset class totally freaking out? If Donald Trump was really doing the bidding of the wealthy elite, do you think his policies would be causing total mayhem for the Wall Street and multinational globalist elite? I mean, give me a...
Yeah, aren't y'all supposed to don't y'all like when the rich are rattling in their boots and the stock market's down because we're trying to bring jobs back here to give to the American people, and you guys are upset? I just want to let y'all know, y'all have been, convinced that every time America's heading towards prosperity, you're supposed to be upset. You have been brainwashed. Congratulations. Every time something good happened for America, you've been programmed to go against it.
The break, obviously, he isn't playing their game. No, he's trying to reset the game, reset the system, to stop the bleeding, to cut off the grift, and to bring the American middle class roaring back. You think Wall Street hates what Donald Trump is doing because it's bad policy? Or is it more that they're freaking out that their endless cash cow of cheap overseas labor and unrestricted global outsourcing is now being threatened? Trump is simply doing exactly what he promised. He's sticking out his neck, he's sacrificing himself, he's taking a beating in the media and from the controlling elite class so he can fight for the middle class. I think the one person who's doing a really good job at explaining this in the media is, again, Batya Ungar-Sargon, who, by the way, I'm going to reiterate, is a self-described leftist.
People on the right struggle to understand why the Democrats keep picking on 80-20 issues, the 20, right? Yeah. And the reason is because the divide in this country is not political. It is a class divide that separates out the 20% of the over-credentialed college elites from the 70-80% of Americans who are middle and working class. Trump has unified those people around a common sense, middle of the road agenda. People who don't feel that things are going in the right direction, this is the Democrats' base, the elites. The elites are very polarized. And of course, Wall Street, for 3 election cycles in a row, picked the Democrats over Donald Trump because they don't like the fact that his entire economic agenda is designed.
But y'all say that the elites are on Trump's side. You see how they tricked you? Think about it. The elites got you to think that, oh no, we're on Trump's side, but really they're on the Democrat side. And the Democrats have been following their agenda for a minute now, and y'all have not noticed. But Trump's the bad guy. But Trump works for the rich. I mean, trust me, you got the rich shaking in their boots right now. You got corporations going like, whoa, hold on, tariffs. Like, when was that ever part of the agenda? Like, fair trade. Hold on, we can't sabotage your economy no more? Like, hold on. Yes, they were betting on a lifetime of sabotaging the American people. Can you believe that?
And to put money in the pockets of working class Americans, middle class Americans, bring the American dream back for the average person who has been forgotten. What President Trump did was he realized that the entire middle class and working class of this country had been abandoned, and he turned the GOP into the party of the working class. These are people who hate the open border because it comes at their expense, of course, when you import millions and millions of low-wage laborers to compete with them. They love tariffs because tariffs make the product of the labor of the working class competitive in the global market. It's rich people who hate tariffs, and that's who the Democrats apparently are catering to.
Let's be clear about what we're seeing right now. This market sell-off is Wall Street trying to short President Trump's agenda. They are betting against the American worker instead of doing what President Trump is doing, which is saying we're going to invest heavily in our middle class. We are no longer going to be a country in which our economy is an upward funnel of wealth from the hardest working Americans into the pockets of.
Yeah, that is also true. Like, think about it like this. Like, it's the same guys that you guys claim you hate, claim that don't pay their fair share, is pretty much reporting that they're scared. And you guys are helping them in their message to get Donald Trump to go off these tariffs, which is going to help them. Like I said, who are y'all really against here? Who are y'all really against? Because obviously, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even think it's Trump anymore. It's like, y'all, they've damn near got you to go at Trump, but really you're going at the American people.
Which our economy is an upward funnel of wealth from the hardest working Americans into the pockets of the international global elites. Wall Street is trying to control the president's agenda with this totally anti-American sell-off. And I think it's unbelievable that the president is not caving and that he is standing strong with the agenda that he promised the American people. This is what he was given a mandate to do. And it is so exciting to see somebody actually make good on the promises they made to the American people.
She's hitting the nail on the head, and it's funny how all the Bernie bros seemingly can't see it, even though it appears that Donald Trump is doing exactly what Bernie Sanders once promised to do. It's obvious the Democrat Party and just the establishment at large is totally in the pocket of Wall Street, and Trump seems to be the only one fighting for regular.
Like, at this point, I mean, it's obvious that they're for Wall Street. It's obvious that they're for the rich, because then they would not mind this plan. They'd be like, oh no, America, we got to release ourselves from these corporations and all this, and this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're doing it. And I don't see it. They're like, the Democrats literally got you to dance for the corporations. I mean, hey man, hey, you guys call me a tap dancer, but man, I mean, the way y'all talking, I mean, shoot, boy, y'all putting on a performance for these corporations. I'll tell you that.
Hey guys, welcome to the Little Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, isn't that rich? The Democrats for years told us that American elections are the safest and most secure in the world. They told us there's no evidence or no instances of voter fraud or illegitimate voting, that voter ID is racist, and any effort to clean up the voter rolls is a form of voter suppression. It's an interesting take, but probably most relevant, it's a take that really isn't aging well. Because every single time we peel back the curtain, every time a real investigation happens, what do we find? Ding, ding, ding. Ineligible voters voting. I mean, always, nearly always. Don't you find it funny how the sketchy ballots just happen to benefit Democrats? Funny how that works out, huh? And well, it seems like we might be walking down that same road once again, as we've now got breaking news out of North Carolina that's blowing the lid on the whole charade. In the latest Supreme Court election in North Carolina, a court just ruled that over 60,000 votes were illegitimate. In other words, this election the Democrats won by 700 votes might have just flipped on its head. Absolutely insane stuff. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so the state of North Carolina is officially in electoral chaos right now. And of course, the Democrats are panicking. What they thought was a razor-thin win for Democrat Allison Riggs, who just won the state Supreme Court race by 734 votes, well, it might not have been a win at all. The North Carolina Court of Appeals just dropped an absolute bomb here, ordering election officials to give 65,000 voters a 2-week deadline to prove that they're even eligible to vote. And if they can't prove it, their ballots are going to get tossed.
In the last 30 minutes, a ruling in that lawsuit to throw out about 65,000 ballots in the 2024 elections for the state Supreme Court.
Y'all just couldn't do it, bro. Y'all just can't do it. Like, I thought we could. That's crazy. It's no wonder y'all was shaking in y'all boots when Trump signed that executive order on voting. It was no wonder, because y'all knew y'all was going to try to. Y'all knew y'all was going to cheat again, didn't y'all? Y'all knew this. Y'all knew this.
Now, Jefferson Griffin, the Republican candidate challenging those ballots, won today at the State Court of Appeals level. Griffin is also a judge on that court, and his colleagues ruled that he's right. Many of those ballots should not have been counted. Now, this case has brought national attention on North Carolina, and today's ruling is almost certain to be appealed. WREL has reached out to Griffin and his opponent, Democratic Supreme Court Justice Allison Riggs.
Yeah, that's 65,000 votes now in question, all because of sloppy, incomplete, or flat-out fraudulent voter registrations. Supposedly, there's examples of ineligible overseas voters, missing photo ID, incomplete social security numbers or driver's license info, a bunch of sketchy, unverified votes that, if not confirmed, will be tossed in the bin. Simple as that. And let's be honest here. Do you think those 65,000 ballots were breaking hard for Republicans? Yeah, probably not. So anyways, this election actually happened a while ago. It happened months back, and it was the typical scene. Judge Jefferson Griffin, the conservative judge, was leading on election night, but then weeks after all the uncounted ballots started to roll in, all of a sudden the race flipped for the left-wing judge by 734 votes. There was then 2 recounts, and Judge Jefferson Griffin then started a legal challenge, and the court ruled that the State Board of Elections outright ignored the law, allowed unqualified ballots, and tried to override state photo ID and registration requirements through internal procedures. Seems a little bit sketchy, but if you listen to the Democrats, like Mark Elias or Mark Elias, whatever you want to call him, apparently it's voter suppression.
A critical North Carolina Supreme Court election is going to a recount, and Republicans are up to their tricks trying to disqualify tens of thousands of voters.
Yeah, the typical left-wing argument. But is it really? No, of course not. And I highly doubt the court system would have deemed these 60,000+ votes illegitimate if they weren't actually breaking election law. But of course, this is the Democrats' stance, right? What they're essentially arguing for.
And here's the thing. I'm like, cool. I guess if they had a application flaw, great. We send out 65,000 letters to these people to prove their citizenship and to prove that they're an actual citizen, or they should actually be voting. And if they can't provide that, it's looking kind of tough for y'all. And if they truly care about this election, they should be hop right on it, right? 65,000 people who somehow mistakenly filled out their application wrong with, weird social security numbers and all that good stuff. Okay, why not? It could happen.
Are less secure elections. Elections where votes come in that cannot be confirmed. What kind of system is that? And what kind of person advocates for that? No signature verification, no voter ID. According to Democrats, no problem. Nothing says trusted democracy like unconfirmed suspicious ballots. I mean, come on. There has to be democratic safeguards. This is why election integrity is so important. You have to be absolutely sure that the person who won with legitimate votes. Anything else is unacceptable. And well, now the clock is ticking. The board has to notify 65,000 voters across 100 counties and give them 15 business days to prove that they're eligible to vote. And if they
15 business days, damn, yep, you got 2 weeks, or they're giving the election to old boy, pretty much.
Don't, their ballots are removed. End of story. It sounds like proper, safe democracy in action. But according to Democrats and their scoundrel lawyers, it's voter disenfranchisement. What an utter joke. It's obvious why they feel that way, because guess what's probably going to happen next? And look, I'm not making an absolute prediction here. I'm just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. But I think if a fraction of those ballots are tossed, if they're proven to be illegitimate, well, then this race could very likely flip. Judge Griffin could win, because generally with these iffy mail-in ballot votes, well, where do they traditionally lean? Mostly towards the Democrat Party, right? Almost every instance of, let's call it, election mischief that's happened in the last decade, it's almost always Democrats that are involved. It's always the Democrats who magically are the beneficiaries in these cases, which again is not exactly surprising considering they're the party of little to no election security. Their favored method of election integrity and security is no security, just a total free-for-all. Let everybody vote, because anything else is somehow racist. Absolutely wild stuff. This could be huge, as this pivotal race in North Carolina could now shift back to the right if enough of these votes are eventually deemed illegitimate.
That's another Supreme Court seat for us. Ha!
Interesting story that we're certainly going to follow, and it's also a story that ties into the bigger picture, especially as this is happening while Elon Musk's Doge team is now uncovering even more corruption in the voter rolls. According to Antonio Garcias, millions of non-citizens have been issued social security numbers. They're registered for things like Medicaid, and worst of all, according to him, many thousands have voted in elections illegally.
We mapped it through to the benefit programs. We found in the benefit programs that every benefit program we looked at was being accessed by these people. 1.3 million of them are on Medicaid right now, today. And by the way, it's just ramping, it's just starting. And then out of curiosity, I woke up at night like 2 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. My mind was right on this. I sent the engineers a note saying, hey guys, let's just look at the public voter rolls, who we find in some friendly states. And we looked at the voter rolls and we found that thousands of them were registered to vote in a handful of states. And then we went even further with those friendly states and found that many of those people had actually voted. It was shocking to us. And if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. And so now the question we're asking ourselves is, what do? We referred some to prosecution. That's ongoing right now. We're thinking through how to do it. And the reality is they have various kinds of status, and it's a very detailed analysis legally they're working through right now about how to deal with it.
Can you just maybe explain it a little bit more about all of the different ways in which you think now the United States ends up leaking services to these folks?
And also they could be contributing too, right? They could be paying taxes into the system. And so I guess there's both of those possibilities, and both of those have fingerprints to them up.
And every benefit program we looked at, and this is just a handful of states, we found people on all the benefit programs, and we found them on unemployment, we found them on Medicaid. They're not contributing. They're taking out, they're mooching, right? Sure. There are criminals. We sent this data list to the National Targeting Center. I don't want to get too far into the data, but I can tell you they found hard hits in the targeting center of very bad people, criminals and people on the terrorist watch list that are in this group. Yeah, I mean, it's a problem. We got to figure out how to deal with it.
Seems kind of sketchy. And all the while, what are Democrats doing? They're still fighting voter ID, still blocking every attempt to verify citizenship under the guise of combating voter suppression.
Man, and fearmonger on tariffs. I mean, you would think they would get on to more pressing matters, but I mean, this is the Democratic Party we're talking about. All right, guys, now we're going to go ahead and shift into the social hour a little bit with some Charlie Kirk. And then we're going to go ahead and to get on to a more sensitive subject. Oh, for some.
Okay. How are you?
Hi. Yes. I don't know am I supposed to say my name or just? Okay. My name is Gigi. I guess I'm mostly on the side of disagreeing, because I feel like I don't think that behind this presidency, I don't think that this country is headed towards a bright future. I don't think that under this presidency that we are going to stand united. I think that it is going to divide us even more, and that it is dividing us. And I also don't think that this presidency is built on a love of all people. I feel like whenever I hear Trump specifically talk, there are notions of not Black people specifically, but people of color being seen as murderers and rapists, and it's specific.
No, we're talking about the illegal immigrants who come over here who are criminals, who are also murder and rapists. So no, he's not talking about Black people. He's talking about the illegal immigrants who just so happen to be, Hispanic.
Targeted towards brown people. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, my question for you is, do you think this country, or do you think that Trump is going to do the American public right in the overall of his presidency?
Yes.
Okay. Are you worried about the state of this country under his presidency when it comes to economic setbacks, when it comes to another Great Depression, when it comes to stocks going down, et cetera, et cetera? Are you worried that he is not going to do anything like that?
I don't have those concerns. And by the way, inflation's going down, and the price of eggs is going down, everybody, big time.
Oh my God. Went from $8 to $4.
But go ahead. I want you to thoroughly complete your argument, and then I'll say something.
Okay. I guess basically the point of my argument is, I think that President Trump, and I think that this country's view, especially when we're coming now into DEI and we're coming into defunding of Department of Education, we're coming to taking the Tuskegee Airmen out of being taught.
That has been reversed, just for the record.
Okay.
Tuskegee Airmen.
But there's been multiple other things besides Tuskegee, but also like, you know, the whole debate on critical race theory, teaching slavery in schools, teaching Black history, et cetera, et cetera. These are things that are being targeted specifically when it took years and years to even get them in place. I think that this country is built on using the Bible, not even 100 years ago, to defame and to dehumanize Black people. There has been use of the Bible specifically when people used to come into the church and talk about how slaves should obey their masters, and how that's what the whole relationship between white and Black people were. I think that this country specifically has a lot of racist rhetoric that is built in, that is not being targeted. I think that.
So let's try to find some common ground. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Can you give me a definition of racism,
please?
Racism. In terms of, I will say, okay, before I
use the term,
yes,
so I want to make sure we're
that's
talking
fair.
about the same thing. Is that cool?
Yes, that's fair. I will say that I will state that I am biased because I will be speaking as a Black person, specifically from the United States of America.
I mean, look, sweetheart, it's an easy answer, okay? Look, I see racism as somebody thinking that they're more superior than somebody else because of their race, or that because somebody's that race themselves, or because of somebody's a different race. So yes, racism I see as more of like a superiority complex. Like you just think you're better than everybody because of your race, or you think you're better than that person because of their race. It's really more, it comes down to that. And it's a real simple answer. And I don't know why she just but yeah, it's all right, sweetheart. We're gonna let you talk.
And not anywhere else. But I would say racism is a discrimination against people of a minority that does not have a.
You can't.
Okay, what is racism?
Bruh.
Racism.
Bruh. You did not just stand there and talk about, oh, I think this is racist rhetoric going on, and I think there's racism in America. He asked you, what is racism? Define it. And you hit him with the what is racism? Sweet Jesus.
Without using the word.
Can't use the word racism.
Can't use the word. That's I'm trying. A discrimination against a minority class of people in order to create an imbalance in the society, or a hierarchy based on something that is undetermined as of color, race, the color of your skin, or maybe even color of your skin.
The color of your skin. Yeah.
Can you be racist against Asians?
Yes.
Can you be racist against white people?
Yes.
I believe that you can have prejudice against white people.
That makes no fucking sense. So white people are the only people that can't pretty much be deemed as racist? Do you not think it's racist? No, never mind. Let me get out going to the jokes, but come on now. Yes, you can be racist against white people. Actually, there are Asians can be racist against white people. Black people can be racist against white people. I mean, Mexicans can be racist against white people. Sure, a white person go to Mexico, he ain't gonna get treated too nicely. That's kind of racism. Like, I'm be real with you. Yes, you can look down on somebody just because they're white, just like black people do. If we apply racism to what I just said, to where, oh, you just think you're superior to somebody because you're of your race, then I'm be real with you. A lot of y'all black people is racist because you think you're superior to white people because you're black, and you feel like you should be in a higher position than them because you're black.
But in the way that this country was built, and the way that this country has been founded, and the way that there are many laws that have taken place, specific like where you were talking earlier with the whole reparations debate, there are many legacies of white people in this country that
Guys, just
I'm weak.
Okay, let's just all take a breath. Gigi's talking.
Which I also would like. I feel like that kind of comes into, yes, we're not all from this country. This is a country of immigrants. This is a country of people
So
from
let me
other
give you an
countries.
example.
Yes.
If a group of black individuals, which happens unfortunately so often, say, we want to go beat up Whitey, and they go beat up a white person, was that a racist thing that they did?
Yeah, because they felt like they were superior enough to violate that man of his rights because he's white. I mean, yeah, honestly, racism do come from a point of superiority where they just think they're better than you or they're oh so above you where they can commit violence against you, mainly because of your race. I mean, it's dehumanizing, I'll tell you.
I would have to ask for further context, but yes, based off of that,
Cool.
yes.
So, but then let's go back to your definition, because your
fair.
definition was that it had to be the exercise of power. I'm going to make your definition better for you
That's
because
fair. That's
the
fair.
exercise of power against a minority group.
Yes.
But in that case, it wouldn't be, because it would be a group of black individuals versus a white individual.
Correct.
So wouldn't a better definition of racism be a human being or institution prejudicing or stereotyping against anybody else because of their race?
I do agree that is a better there's a better definition in terms of how racism is used in society, in terms of setting people behind not having equal amounts of opportunities in these institutions, specifically colleges, jobs, et cetera, hospitals. But that is my point. I feel like in this country, we don't talk about enough. And I think that under this presidency,
Don't talk about what enough.
we don't talk about the history and the impact of long-term racism in this country against minorities.
Is this a plight for reparations? Because I'm not. It's ignorant. I'm like, come on, sweetheart. Like you can't keep like hinging on the past here. It's like, how is us hinging on, oh, well, you guys need to recognize that you did us dirtier in slavery. I'm like, sweetheart, we did ourselves dirty during slavery. Like, hey, who sold us into slavery? Our African ancestors actually did. Hey, who perpetuated slavery? Well, some of the people who got here and who were black, happen to be black, also slave owners. I mean, here's the thing. Who also now this probably wasn't our fault all the way, but there was some slaves who wanted to be slaves. God damn it. Maybe slavery would have ended if there wasn't so much complicit slaves. Like, there's a lot of things you could put on there. But here's the thing, though. I do like to go on the whole accountability part and just say, like, look, one, I believe that black people, we were going to get ourselves out of slavery with or without white people. It's going to happen eventually, like due to guys like Nat Turner and them. But we are here now, okay? We are the freest people. We are the freest group of blacks on earth. We are the richest group of black people on earth. I mean, it kind of wouldn't have happened without the slavery. Let's be honest.
Can I just press
Like,
pause?
hey, you got to take the good with the bad, okay? Yes, we had terrible bads, but we also had some pretty good times. I mean, we had a Black Wall Street and we slightly effed that up, but that's our fault.
Yes.
That's all we've talked about the last 5 years. I mean, but hear me out. 1619 Project. We have entire black dedicated channels on Pluto and Hulu and Netflix. We have reoriented the entire national dialogue towards, we had the President of the United States, Joe Biden, take a knee for Black Lives Matter, to have racial reconciliation seminars, to have nonstop race obsession. So I think we've talked about it thoroughly and properly.
So do you think that black people in this country have equal opportunity and are treated equally as white
Absolutely.
people?
So let me prove it to you, okay? So Gigi and Charlie. What can Charlie do that Gigi can't do?
Okay, I don't know anything. I don't really know much about you. I don't know
Based on the
what
law.
you're capable of.
No, just on the law. What am I allowed to do on the law that you are not allowed to do on the law?
On paper, nothing.
That's equal opportunity and equal treatment, right? If you care about faith, family, and freedom, listen up. I'm proud to partner with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens.
Child of God. We all are.
Are we?
On paper, yes.
Are we all the child of God in your eyes? Like, I believe it, but I mean, if we are, then you should believe that racism can be shown to all.
That is true.
Just like love can be shown to all. All negative feelings can be shown and all positive feelings can be shown. when you kind of say, oh, well, I don't think racism can happen against white people, you're kind of making them like a special group.
True. Like, I was born under this country. I am a citizen of America. I am an American. I am a Black American. I am a follower. I am a child of God. We all are. I 100% stand on that. But I think that basically what I'm trying to get at is I feel like in order for us to have these conversations and to keep having these conversations, we need to have a specific platform that we're able to meet each other on the common consciousness of this society. And I don't think we can have these conversations if we do not understand that Black people specifically, because I really can't talk about Asians. I'm not Asian. I can't talk about other people of color, but Black people in this country specifically have never had the opportunities to bring themselves back up.
Whoa, sis. Whoa, yes, we have. Yeah, we have plenty of times. I mean, can Black people not communitize? Can we not buy into our community? I mean, do we not all have the opportunity to start a business? Do we not have the opportunity to go out there, have good credit? I mean, be a trader, whatever. We all have the same opportunities white people have. It's just we kind of don't believe in ourselves to take it, to be honest with you. And that's a lot of the people in the Black community. I kind of scapegoat on, oh, the white man, it's a white man this, white man controls that, it's the Jews. It's like, and it just keeps you from taking action. And I'm be honest with you, that's the reason why we don't go nowhere, is because of that stagnant. That's stagnant. It's just, you're just stagnant. That's it. You don't go nowhere because you want to blame everything on white people. You don't want to go nowhere because everything's affecting you. You're just a victim of all racism, of all prejudices. It's like, bro, if you think like that, you're never going to go nowhere. And that's for anybody, honestly. I mean, it even comes to those white nationalists and when it comes to their problem with the Jews.
When you're talking about the destroyment of the Black family, that also came with a big chunk of the Reagan administration, which was forever and whatever ago.
How is it the government's fault of why dads aren't around?
I mean, we could get into the whole, like, the rhetoric of crack babies and crack drug dealers.
So, but isn't it a decision to take drugs?
Oh, no, 100%.
So, and it's a decision to commit crimes.
Yes.
Okay, so the government didn't do that.
Mean, so it's a Black man's decision to some reason. I mean, stay in poverty. Yes, it kind of is. I mean, he can go out there and get a job. He doesn't have to spend his money on BS. He can go out and save, invest, do all types of things for himself and his family, but he chooses not to. Why is that? Maybe it's our culture. Who knows? Who knows? But I don't just like blaming things on white people as if they just control the goddamn world. Like, that ain't fun. All right, man. What's going on, my man Don's?
So I really want to break down the rights pyramid because a guy talked about it one time, and it's amazing how accurate it is. So, and a lot of people don't know this because they cover it up and they pretend like, oh no, that's not the truth. So as far as the rights pyramid goes in America, there's a lot of things that people don't discuss about, and I'll explain it. In America, at the bottom, you're at the bottom of the totem pole if you are a straight white male. Above that is a straight Black male. Above that is a female of any particular, well, actually, I'd argue above that is people who are in the LGBT community. Above that would be a female. Anybody who is female, doesn't matter of race. Above that are the small hat people.
I'm weak. I mean,
it's the truth, though. It's true.
I mean,
it's sad, but it's true.
It up well.
It's true.
No, you're not.
But so a lot of people don't know. So when it comes to court systems, if you go to jail, whether you're white or Black, if they put in a piece of paperwork for you to get out on good behavior, you have a higher chance of getting approved if you are a person of a minority group than a white man. Also, when it comes to colleges, if you put on your college application, if you are Black or white, you have a higher chance of being accepted into that college if you are of a minority group than a white person. Same thing with employment because of DEI.
Now keep going. You good?
And if you're female, you also have a higher chance than a straight white or a straight Black person. Specifically male. Yeah.
I know it's been, and you know what the worst part is? The white or the Asian student could have scored higher than you, and you still get in over them.
Also, statistically, I did some research into this. If you were to charge a Black person and a white, a person of a minority group and a white person of the same exact crime, there's actually a higher chance of the white person actually receiving a harsher sentence because they expect better of them. Because crime rate statistics, they're going to punish the people who make mistakes more or less, and they're going to punish the people who don't because they want to make an example out of this white man who just did this thing.
Damn.
To the rest of the white community. And it happens. Nobody talks about this, though, because if we talk about that, then we're admitting that white people are oppressed. And if we admit that white people are oppressed in America, then it kills the objective.
Think about it like this, though. What nobody's mentioning was happening in South Africa.
Oh, on God.
That's crazy to me. I'm like, hold on. Just because they're white people out there getting massacred, like people are getting massacred, but because they're white, we're going to just ignore it?
No, they're getting beheaded. I watched a video online and it wasn't censored. I'm traumatized. My buddy sent it to me like last week, and like literally I was at work in my office and I had to shut it off because it freaked me out that bad.
Oh shit. Yeah, that reminds me when I saw them ISIS videos when they were doing their beheadings of the
dude took a machete, bro. A machete. Oh, and it took more than one swing. Ugh.
Oh, they'd always do. Trust me, I've seen those. I was like, oh
yeah. I was drinking at work that day, and then no one complained because I told them why. But as like it's you see all the left talk about this shit about, oh well, you can't be racist towards white people. I would argue that specifically, bottom of the totem pole, white straight men. Above that would be black straight men. But no one talks about that because if you bring that up, then we can't argue that America is racist anymore. Because then you can argue a caste system, aka where the wealthy have rights and the poor don't. And it's no longer about race. Now, all the people at the bottom of the totem pole group together and rise up against who? The rich. So if we perpetuate racism and make everybody think they're oppressing each other, they won't notice who's actually oppressing them.
Man, all right, Don, well said. But all right, man, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and get on with the rest of the video. I can go ahead and bring you in on the next one as well. The next one's gonna be also a hot topic as well.
I gladly will lurk in the background and just watch from here and talk in the comments.
All right, say less, man. Appreciate you, Dons. Man, shout out my man Dons. All right, don't worry. We're going to bring my man Dons back up here during the next video because we're going to get into this whole racism thing. Because it's a touchy topic, and I want to touch on it. Why not?
To them, people decided to take drugs.
That's true. But do you feel like these populations or these communities have, in statistics, been overly populated by police officers?
Well, so just, you seem like a really sweet person. So I don't want to try to be too intense. So is that cool?
Go ahead.
What percentage of America is black? 13%, right? Yes. What percentage of the murders in America are committed by black people?
Oof.
I don't know the specific statistics.
Yes.
It's 50%.
It's 60%.
Dang.
So maybe when you do 60% of the killings and you're 13% of America, more cops should be around your neighborhoods.
But there's no cops, and there's not an equal number of cops in the white suburban neighborhoods.
Because they're not. Did this girl just listen to the argument or not? Well, there's not enough equal amount of. It would be a waste of time to be in the white neighborhoods because there's not that much crime. Yes, they're not riding around shooting each other in the white neighborhood. They're not really gang banging. There's no gang banging in these white neighborhoods. So therefore, the cops don't need to be there in full force. Like, bro, I'm pretty sure in the suburb they got some police rolling around, but not like in the hood. You wanna know why? Because things are more likely to go down in these low poverty areas or these low income areas. In these areas that experience, well, poverty, a lot of poverty. That's tough.
Because there's not as much murder.
The same neighborhoods that are controlling the like they have cocaine in their houses, but it's not treated the same.
And this is okay, Gigi, because it really is flushing out our different worldviews.
Yeah.
You look at cops as if they're there to catch you and get you. We look at cops as they're there to protect and serve and help us.
And that's only because in this country, I mean, police used to be able to drag black people out in the streets and hose them down and sick dogs on them and tear.
I mean, hold on now. I mean, whoa. Yes, there were pretty racist times, but not that racist. Yes, there were racist times that they did hose us down, but that was in protest, and it wasn't right then. It will never be right. But I'm just saying though, like, whoa, don't over glamorize it now. It's like that's what some of these black people like to do. They like to over glamorize things and be like, and they was pulling hella black people out their house and just lynching them all and all that good stuff. I'm like, whoa there, sis. There was some lynchings, but you acting like there was mass lynchings.
Them apart, and we never really had the conversation that where do we get away from that?
Definitely had the conversation.
Like
after George Floyd, the whole country.
I mean, you can't complain about having cops in your area when your area is high crime. You can't be mad that white people don't have their cops in the area because of their low crime. It's like, why don't y'all just fix? If y'all want low cops or no cops, damn near in y'all communities or in y'all neighborhoods, then stop committing a lot of crime. Stop having a whole lot of robberies. If you don't want a whole bunch of police rolling around the projects and all that good stuff, stop being so high crime. But then again, these are things that are out of some of you people's control. It's not y'all fault that y'all live around criminals. Sometimes you just got to get out of that environment.
Blew up under the conversation. Okay.
Yes, but it was a big stand.
Like, trust me, my man. I know it. I know the feeling of being in a place where, hey, you may be a well-to-do citizen, but trust me, your neighbor and the guy and your two neighbors are not the best people. I'll tell you that. And I'm not talking about the place I'm at now, but back in the day.
On should cops be able to do this? It's almost as if when a black person is murdered by police or at the hands of the police, the bullet that came from a police officer's registered
on average
gun.
How many times a year would you say a black person killed by police?
I mean, at one point it was happening
Unarmed.
at least. Okay, if it was happening at least last year, it was going on about.
Harder.
It was at least a month that it was a major case. But in terms of the average city, I don't know the average city.
Right?
I know though, but
so
in terms of what actually makes it to major media, because
it's the Washington Post's own database, left wing, 10 black individuals a year. Mm-hmm. So here's my contention. So you have a population that dads are not around, that is very, very murderous per population capita, that is very violent, more likely to be involved in gangs. And we, as conservatives look at that and we say, wait a second, like the problem is within the community. The problem is not the government. The problem is not the culture. The problem is not the history. Instead, really what needs to happen is black leadership, black pastors, and black dads need to go into the black community and say, we're better than this. Cut the killing, cut the violence. Do you know the most, one more point.
Go ahead.
Here's the problem though. Now I would tell Charlie this, and I'd be like, now look, I'm not blaming nobody. And this is our fault because I do believe that more men in our community need to step up. But bro, we say something and we're Uncle Tom's. We say something and you're against your people. I mean, here's the thing. The black community has been conditioned to go against the real men in their community. That is the tragedy of it. The men that want to bring order to the community, like I said, we're Uncle Tom's. The men that want to bring prosperity to our community, we're Uncle Tom's. We try to tell these men to pull their pants up. You're an Uncle Tom. You try to tell these men, hey, don't be a gang, go to school. You're a lame. And guess what? You're an Uncle Tom. So you got to understand, we need it as black men. I mean, there got to be more than us. I mean, I guess we all got to stand up on this because there's not enough of us standing up, apparently, because we just can't get shot down every time they want to call us an Uncle Tom. Like, come on now. Or they want to call us lame, or you want to try to say that, you're going to get annexed from the community. Oh, what? This violence-filled community? Like, please annex me. I'm so mad. Please kick me out the black community. The gay, liberal, violence-crazed black community. I'm so like, and this is not, and I'm be rude. I don't even want to make that joke, but this is what we're turning into. Like, be honest.
Who is outside of heart disease and all that? What is the number one killer of black people in America?
I know about like diabetes, but
I mean, Set, in your opinion, do black families raise children to hate whiteys and popos? Yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to beat around the bush, brother. Shout out Fox Chase too, but yeah, I always talk about my white supremacist uncles. Like my mom and my dad, they never really had anything too much to say about white people. Like, especially my mom. My mom never really instilled that victim mindset in me to be, it's the white man, it's the white man. No, she always told me I could perform at the same level, if not better. That's what the belief of my parents, both of them. Now, my uncles, they hated white people and the police, but they were also doing illegal activity, so it made sense. Most of them were doing illegal activity, so it made sense. Some of them weren't, and they were honest business guys. or construction guys, and you know, they just hated white people for some reason. And then there was the one who did high criminal activity, and they just hated the white people and the popo. And I don't know where it came from. I really don't understand. They never really explained it to me. That's why I never really went too deep into it, because I'm like, well, I don't know why you hate white people so much, but that ain't me. And they look, they over there living in New York and other places, and I'm over here living in Ohio. I'm now mostly white people. Like, think about it. With school, white people, friends, college, all this good stuff, to work with white people all my life. How could I hate y'all? Shoot, side note, a white person saved my life when I was damn near bleeding out. How could I hate white people?
Hello, black people.
It's kind of hard to.
A black person is far more likely to be killed by another black person than any.
So I would say this, like, white people wouldn't hate. I mean, I'm sorry, let me switch that up. But black people wouldn't have that, I guess, hate for white people, or be able to be taught that hate for white people if they experienced white people. Because they're not bad. Like, let's be real. And I would say the same thing for white people. Y'all really wouldn't have that, like, pre-notion of black people if you actually experienced black people. Like, to be honest, we're not, like, most of us are not criminals. Yes, the media glorifies the worst of us, and that's just that. And I feel like you white people can get along now because y'all see how the media glorifies the worst of y'all. So I guess we can all be kumbaya over that now, especially the white straight man. I feel like me and y'all, I feel like we should be really cool at that point. I mean, like, hey, man, they was attacking our masculinity, attacking your masculinity too. We should be kumbaya in the fight on that.
Anything else? Black people.
Like, shoot, they want to make y'all gay. They want to make us gay too. Hey, we should be able to be brothers in arms in that.
People are a greater threat to their own people than any other community. So it's not like white supremacists coming into these communities and they're mowing down. It's black on black gang violence.
But that's not okay. I just like to go back to something that you said earlier about like how it has nothing to do with the government. The history of black people in this country has everything to do with the government. At one point, the government allowed and pushed and raised for slavery. That was something that this government did. They made laws in the improvement of segregation. So in terms of the long history, you can't take out the fact that government has played a major institution.
Of course, government plays a role. But let's take you, Gigi. How did government...
Actually, you want to know who took a huge role in racism? Psychology. That's like sometimes, and this is why I really don't blame white people most of the time, because if you understand the psychology that was going through white people's head at the time of racism, there was really psychologists out there telling white people that, oh no, there's psychologically something wrong with you if you're not okay with racism. And then they were telling that to black people too. They was going like, yeah, as a white person, yeah, you're crazy if you don't think racism is okay. As a black person, you're crazy if you don't want to be a slave. This is the mentality that was putting inside white people's heads. Now, of course, some white people was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then there was some white people that was like, all right, I guess. It's like, sometimes I really don't blame them, because it's like, bro, psychology is a motherfucker. I mean, look what the psychology of the liberal party has done to us all. I mean, or done to, well, the liberals. You kind of see how psychological play works in, well, I'll say the government's favor, or I guess the elite's favor.
How did government...
One of the reasons I don't trust psychology.
Gotta move over, man. You're blocking their view. Can you please move?
No, I'm good right here. I'm not disrupting anything.
You are. They can't see. You're blocking people. Okay.
Why is he wearing a
anyway,
blue cape?
But Gigi, let me. Yeah. All right. So, Gigi, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How did that legacy of slavery prevent you from getting to this school and having a great career?
I think that, okay, I'm sorry, I got kind of distracted. Can you please restate your
So,
question?
Gigi, what I'm trying to do right now, I'm going to give you a warning, is prove that your own life experience is actually at odds with some of the things you're saying. Is that cool? So here you are at the University of Tennessee, correct? You're a student.
Yes.
You have the whole world as your oyster in front of you. You could study hard. You're going to graduate. You're going to do better than most people in probably the community you came from. Just guessing. I don't know your background, but based on how you're talking. How did the legacy of slavery get in your way?
Please.
I would say the legacy of slavery got in my way.
I mean, the legacy of slavery honestly should have put a fire under you, if anything. Like, really? Oh, they did what to my people? All right, bet. I'm about to be the best damn person I could be. I'm about to stand on 10 and show my ancestors that they ain't go through that for no reason. That they ain't break those chains for no reason. It's like y'all making yourselves victims, and really y'all should be empowered by it. Because right now you're making it sound like your family risked like getting their feet chopped off. Risk going out there in the wild for what? For you to be a victim is wild to me. But some people don't understand how they disrespect their lineage.
In the way that I am not a legacy child here. I would say that it got in my way in the way that my parents, my grandparents were not afforded the same. We're not at one point even allowed to be on the property of this school. I think that is one of the things that has gotten into this way.
But you're here. It didn't get in the way. So here's the attitude I want
Mhm.
you to adopt, Gigi, and I'll close
Yeah.
with this. Instead of just looking at everything in the past that's wrong and bad through a victim lens, say, you know what?
Thank
Still
you.
going on. Okay.
Because I'm be honest with you, if the slave man, the ancestors came back there, they'd slap some of these dudes in the face. Like, hold on, you're telling me I did all this suffering just for you to be a bitch? Just for you to bitch about it? Hold on, you're not gonna progress your life. Like, do you understand that our ancestors went through this just so we could be here to progress, not to dwell on the past, but to progress? Like, they was already dealing with that shit, and they dealt with that for us. Why the hell are we gonna just fall back and be victims when they weren't victims them damn selves? Bro, our ancestors who were slaves weren't even as much as victims as you guys are now. It don't even make sense.
One sec. Say, you know what? I'm an American, and I'm going to use my mental energy to say, despite all of that, I get to succeed and flourish and prosper as a Black
Exactly.
American at the University of Tennessee. You are a living embodiment, Gigi, that you can.
Like, your ancestors couldn't go to school. Your ancestors couldn't chase the American dream. There's a lot of things your ancestors couldn't do that you're doing right now that you low-key take for granted. And it's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy.
Can still succeed as a Black individual.
I would just disagree from the simple fact that I feel like there are a lot of barriers, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of prejudice just in somebody might look at me and not even assume that I could
How
even
do you
get
know
into
what they're
the
thinking?
universe. I'm not saying that I know.
I mean, sweetheart, you're not one of those. Here's the thing. It does seem like, I guess, the well-to-do, the good Blacks do speak up for the worst of us. And it don't make sense because I'm like, sweetheart, you're actually, I'm be honest with you. I'd hire you. You don't look like one of them girls who's gonna do some wild shit. You don't look like no city girl. You look like a pretty, nerdy girl, to be honest with you. It looks like you got your head on your shoulders. Like, I wouldn't partake you as a hood chick or anything like that. So you can't really speak up for those girls or those guys who are a little bit more hood acting or urban acting.
I don't know what people
You just
are
said
thinking.
that.
I'm saying I can assume from prejudices that I know exist in this country.
Hold on a second.
even
I
in
got to go
this day and
time out.
age.
And you know what? If you walk around here and you go see, this happens all the time, and you see a white boy with the short shorts and kind of acting all, like you might say he's only there because of his parents.
I don't think so.
Oh, it happens a lot at these Southern schools, right?
I mean, it happened. I mean, I was raised
So
in Michigan.
everybody has to overcome some form of bias, prejudice, or stereotyping. What's most helpful? Let's stop talking about it so much and talking about how we can apply ourselves to become better people and better citizens.
All right, now let's touch on this subject now.
Austin Metcalf was Wednesday morning. Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kirkendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., Frisco police say 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight.
Again, we got some serious problems that we got to deal with, man. Because I'll give it 1,000 with y'all. Bro, I don't want to live in a Black neighborhood. I don't want to be in Atlanta. I don't want to be in Detroit. I don't want to be in St. Louis. I don't want to go to LA. When I'm in LA, I get in, get out. Not trying to be around niggas, bro. And this is how everybody feels. Nobody wants to be around y'all niggas, bro. Because you guys are fucking idiots that think it's okay to perpetuate violence on other people. Let's go ahead and get into the first story.
God
okay.
damn.
Frisco student killed in stabbing at track meet.
The Frisco Memorial High School community gathered tonight in grief after the stabbing death of a teenager at a track meet.
Another teenager, a student at Frisco Centennial, is now charged with the murder. 17-year-old Austin Metcalf's twin brother was at the track with him. His family says he died in his brother's arms. Fox 4's Amelia.
And God damn, that should never happen. I ain't even gonna lie. But let me show you some BS though. Shared by this guy Isaac, right? All right. Carmelo Anthony is an American hero. It's unfortunate Austin Metcalf lost his life, but this is a clear case of self-defense, and hopefully this young man can return home safely to his family. Are you fucking serious? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! And this is why. This is what sows division. And this is what Black people, we gotta low-key like stand on 10 and be like, no, this is what we will not accept. Like, we're not gonna go here and praise this man because he killed a white boy. That's definitely not what we're about to do. No, we're about to say, no, put that man through the system and lock his ass up. Like, that is not what we're about to do. We're not about to glorify this type of behavior or call him an American hero, which is disrespectful.
Jones spoke with the teen's
The real
victim's
American
father
hero.
and is live in Frisco tonight. Amelia.
Steve, Heather, 17-year-old Austin
Literally,
Metcalf
the
had a
bullshit they'll
bright
say.
future ahead of him. He was a leader on the football field and a scholar in the classroom. His dad told me he's holding on to memories and leaning deep on his faith as he tries to wrap his mind around this senseless tragedy.
He was going to turn out to be a great individual and impact this world with positivity.
17-year-old Austin Metcalf was voted MVP of the Frisco Memorial High School varsity football team. The linebacker held a near-perfect GPA and was in the National Honor Society.
No.
He was on the right track. He was doing everything right. I was so proud.
He was on the Honor Society. Damn, bro, had the best of both. He was an athlete. Like, what? Honor Society? My man had bronze and brains, and you just... I hate when I hear that. I hate when people with talent like low-key lose their life early. That shit irritates me.
Metcalf never imagined that his son's future would be cut short.
And he was out there hunting. And he was close with his dad. Shit, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit hurt my heart. I ain't even gonna lie. That shit hurts.
I'm still in shock.
Wednesday morning, Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kirkendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., Frisco police say 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. Jeff Metcalf says it was Austin's twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, who tried to save him.
And his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in, and he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms.
It's unclear how Anthony got the knife into the meat or what exactly led up to the fight. Anthony is now facing first-degree murder charges, and Jeff Metcalf
It was the best weekend ever.
Is only left with memories.
I was able to watch and be blessed so much. They're having both my sons are amazing.
When Jeff Metcalf was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago, his boys were his strength. Now cancer-free, it's his faith that's keeping him strong.
And when I kissed his forehead today, as his body was cold, I ran my fingers through his hair. I told him it's not goodbye. It's see you later. I'll join you at some point too, son. You just beat me to this place.
Wednesday night, the family's church opened its doors for the community to gather for a prayer vigil to honor a young man whose life touched so many.
But I know he's with the Lord. And I take comfort and peace in that.
In our conversation, Jeff mentioned that he hopes his son's death brings changes to security.
Look, we got to have a tough discussion here. And that tough discussion is we got some problems in the black community.
Like, for real.
Okay? I tweeted out, we don't have a race problem in America. We have a problem race. I'm going to say that again. A lot of you FBAs are going to get mad at me for saying it. But whatever. You guys are over here in the debrief, and you guys know I'm going to call it like it is. We don't have a race problem in America. We got a problem fucking race. Okay? And that problem race is the black community. Now, a lot of people are going to get angry at me and say, Myron, you're racist, etc. You know, you're Uncle Tom or any of this other crap. But it's true. It's true. We promote violence. We promote gang culture. We promote sorting things out through attacking each other, through shooting at each other, through, in this case, stabbing each other. Can't even have a disagreement without some type of ridiculous violence. This is...
Can't go to a nice little party without it getting shot up. It's like, yeah. I mean, bro, God damn it. I don't like the way he framed it. I'll admit when he says we're like, it's a problem race because one, it's not all of us. And it's the media who perpetuates the worst of us. But when we got our media, our music, our entertainers who honestly support this type of stuff, I mean, what does it say? Like when I guess the high established ones who I guess is in our entertainment supports this BS, or we see as the pinnacle of, you know, the black community as the guys in entertainment. And that's who we like to follow, or that's who the culture likes to follow. And if we follow that behavior of the rappers and the, you know, the movie stars, I mean, It's no wonder where we're at today. Because if we're really following that behavior, it makes sense why we're here.
It's an issue. This is an issue. And the thing is that, and the reason why I'm bringing this to the forefront is the other races are just going to motherfuck the black community. F them, drop the N-bomb, get angry, right? I hate these guys, blah, blah. But I'm telling you guys what it is. I'm telling you guys how they feel. I'm telling you guys what they're saying behind the scenes. I'm calling it like it is. And it's really up to the black community to either change, right? Or we're going to continue to perpetuate the stereotypes, and we're going to continue to deal with said stereotypes, right? And the culture's got to change, bro. The culture has to change. We got to stop promoting guys like Little Dirk.
Like, bro, for real? My man, Police Cam Reactions, man. Hey, shout out, my man back. But you're not lying. Malcolm X would be rolling in his grave right now, bro. I mean, ain't gonna lie. Malcolm X would be rolling in his graves seeing us support white liberals. Bro, Malcolm X would be rolling in his grave seeing us support the Democratic Party right now. This man would be like, did I not warn you? Did I not warn you? Did I not tell you that these guys are not the people to follow? And what did y'all motherfuckers go do? You follow them. I told you not to follow them. Like, this is what literally Malcolm X told us not to follow the white liberal. What did the black people do? Follow the white liberal. Because they frame what? The white Republican is racist. Like, now look where we're at. It is sad. It is very sad.
And King Von need to start promoting intellectuals and guys that get shit going on. Right? Need to promote going to school, not being a scumbag versus being a scumbag and scamming and not snitching or whatever. Like, we do everything backwards in the black community, right? We prioritize doing drugs, selling drugs, robbing each other, scamming, not snitching, not.
On God. And let me show you, let me show you what the black community get into. Shout out my man DJ Academics. I mean, you want to know what the black community gets into? I mean, sure, let's go to the first post. What is this? 6ix9ine?
She a dancer. She said that her name was
Do you see what I'm talking about? I mean, did I have to go too far to find ignorance? Did I have to go too far to find the ignorance, my friend? It was the first fucking post. I don't got to go too far to find ignorance to watch. And how much people follow this man? Oh, 5.2 million. How much you want to bet most of them is black? Yeah, I know, right? It's not too hard to find the bullshit. But it's real hard to find, well, things of substance.
Not cooperating with the police, right? Fuck 12, all this dumb shit. That's what we promote. That's what we promote. So when you see a 17-year-old kid enact enormous amount of brutality in a quick amount of time, like, where does that come from? Where does that come from? Because look, let's go ahead and assume that this story is true with what the Twitter handle is saying, and saying that the twins tried to jump him, right? Stabbing? Why do you have a knife at a track meet, dude?
Bruh.
The hell is going on? Again, we got some serious problems that we gotta deal with, man. Because I'll give it 1,000 with y'all. Bro, I don't want to live in a black neighborhood. I don't want to be in Atlanta. I don't want to be in Detroit. I don't want to be in St. Louis.
I mean, I want to live there. I visit for sure, but live there? Yeah, no. Hell no. I like my life. I like Columbus. I mean, shoot, I'm good. I'm in a liberal city, and this is as liberal as I wanted to get. Any more liberal, I'm up out of here.
I don't want to be in New York City. I don't want to go to LA. When I'm in LA, I get in and get out. I'm not trying to be around niggas, bro. And this is how everybody feels. It's not just me. I'm just saying it. But everyone feels this way. Nobody wants to be around y'all niggas, bro. Because you guys are fucking idiots that think it's okay to perpetuate violence on other people. You can't talk nothing out. Everything's got to get shot out, stabbed out, jumped out. Ridiculous.
I mean, bro, the word of a conversation is not, I mean, like, bro, let's have a conversation. Nah, fuck you, nigga, bro. Throw them hands, nigga. Like, it's always on some bullshit like that. I mean, I could get more grimy with it, but I mean, look, I've fought more of my brothers than I've actually had a conversation with them. I'll just be real with you. I'll say it again. I fought more of my brothers than I've actually had a conversation with. And I'm talking about men who share the same skin tone as me or darker. It's like, and I'll be real with you. I've had a conversation with other races sometimes over more heated subjects, and we've talked that out. Or we've just been, all right, cool, agree to disagree. You don't like me, I don't like you, let it be that. And it's only with my own kind where it has to progress to violence, and I have no idea why. Or lives got to be threatened, and I have no idea why. And I'm like, come on, trust me, I've had my life threatened way more times than I like to admit. I'll be honest.
Absolutely ridiculous. And then when someone says the truth, like I do, what do y'all do?
Oh yeah, it's not. But Fox Shave, I mean, you're not lying. You're not lying. It is not cool to be responsible and humble. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, look, I remember I was talking to one of my younger, I like to call them the little homies, right? And he was saying, man, bro, you got to step on niggas out here and all that, bro. You got to get on top of niggas. You got to get one up on these niggas. And I'm like, whoa, young man. I mean, you're supposed to be working with your brothers, not think about how you get on top on how you got to step on them. But that's the mentality of the youth. They feel like they got to flex on the one people that's above them, find a way to get over on the next guy. And this is why our youth is upset with, stealing, jacking cars, robbing the plug. I mean, back in the day, I know selling drugs ain't the best thing, but this is what they're promoting to us. Come from the bottom, rack yourself up. I mean, get your clientele up and become a plug. Now they telling these young kids, man, fuck all that, go rob the plug. Man, fuck all the hard work, go rob the man who put in the hard work. That's the ideology that they're putting in now. It used to be work yourself up, and I know it's bad in the street tents, but work yourself up. Start from the dime bags and work yourself up to the brick. So fuck that hard work, nigga. Just go rob the nigga with the brick. It's like, are you serious? Like, bro, I kind of miss the old mentality, to be quite honest with you. At least you could relate that to a business, and that's what a lot of these hustlers did, is they related to a business and got about that. But when you got the mentality of, just rob the people who got the money, it's no wonder the black community thinks like this now, because that's your mentality from the first place. Trust me, y'all think that way against your own damn people. You will rob other black people because they got money. Maybe that's why you wouldn't always tax the rich. It makes sense now. Hey, F stealing from them. Why not we just do it through the government? Like crazy. And shout out to my man Fox. He says that king mentality has to be erased. Yeah, I mean, and I'm okay with, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm okay with the whole king thing. I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's like a confidence thing. You gotta see yourself as a king. We came from the kings and queens and the pharaohs and all that good stuff. But when you use it to be an ass, when you use it to have a superiority complex over the next person, you're tripping. Because I'm gonna be real with you, white men can call themselves kings too. I mean, let's keep it real. Like, I can name a lot of African kings, and I can name a lot of European kings. So let's cut the bullshit. I mean, man, white men, bro, start calling yourselves kings too. Why not? Why the fuck not? Go ahead.
Oh, you Arab. You ain't even one of us. What does that even mean? What? I got to be one of you idiots to tell you that you're an idiot? I have to be an idiot to tell you're an idiot? Is that what it is? That's the problem. You motherfuckers can't take no criticism.
Bruh. No, they cannot.
The truth is the truth, regardless of who says it. If I say we got some serious fucking problems in the black community.
You know what the worst part is? It's like, when you talk like this, I guarantee you, this happened during the beginning of the election. There's literally people saying, I bet you date white women. I bet you date white women and all this good stuff. And I'm like, first off, it matters what I date. I'm still going to speak the truth. But it is kind of crazy how they kind of relate having these conservative views or wanting your community to be better to dating white women. I'm like, I'm going to say it like this. And I know most black men don't hear my opinion on this. But look, black women are my women. All right. I believe that us black men are here, the well-to-do ones are here to low-key lead them through this bullshit, because y'all bitch-ass niggas ain't gonna do it, so we gotta step up and be the real men to do so. The hell I look like messing with white women when I need to fix my black women? And I may not fix them, but at least put them on the right path. You can't save all these women, but hey, you can at least put the right mindset in their head, or you at least put the right goal or the right attitude or something. There's something, but what the hell? I can't really speak to my black women if I'm out here, frolicking with the snow bunnies. And the snow bunnies do look good, but my black women to me look better.
He needs to get fixed. And then you sit there and say, well, you Uncle Tom, so I'm not going to listen to what you got to say. Nigga, what? And that is why no one respects y'all. Honestly, that is why nobody respects you idiots. Because to you guys, it's like, oh, you can't comment on no problems. Can't comment on no problems. That's why nobody wants to talk to y'all niggas, bro. Because number one, they're going to get called racist. Number two, you guys are going to say some dumb monkey shit like that. And here's the thing. Tariq Nasheed, dumbass, or one of these other niggas are probably going to make a video, call me oh, this nigga hates his own race or whatever. I don't, bro. Honestly, at this point, I don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah. Honestly.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Trust me, all the questions you're afraid to ask black people, you can ask me, because I'm always gonna keep it well cut with you. I'm always gonna give you it the way it is. And he says, in your opinion, do black people keep each other down? Well, I would say, yeah. Most black people are pretty negative. We're pretty negative towards each other. I don't know why. And I mean, it'll be negative in the worst way. I mean, they'll tell you can't do this, or you can only do that, or you can't think this way. It's like, or, oh no, you if you don't go with the group, you're lame. If you do try to do something different, trust me, we do find ways of keeping each other down. But honestly, I think that's all races, to be honest. I mean, I think that's just human nature. When you see somebody doing something different outside your culture, or outside of what what your group does, I guess you're always going to be ostracized in some type of way. So I can kind of blame that on all people, and how your average people, I like to say, maybe not average, but negative people, which happen to be your average people, have a crab in the bucket mentality. I mean, if they can't do it, they're going to tell you can't do it, and they're going to keep telling you can't do it until they pull you down. And we'll just call that human nature. I can't even say it's just black people that do it, but it does happen a lot in our community. Like, especially what I just said about the whole, we used to be taught to, grind from the dime bag to the brick. And now the new way is, oh no, F that, go rob the guy with the brick. And that's a way of keeping each other down. I mean, if we were smart, if black people were really, really smart, we'd have behind this, but it's not good, but we probably would have been the cartel. All the drugs we were getting in, we should have been able to organize, communitize with the money, flood all the money into our community, thus also taking over certain districts and cities with said drug money. But instead, we did what? We bought nice cars, hoes. I mean, at least the rims were nice, and Gucci. You see what I'm saying? It's like, even though, even though with those drugs flooded into our community, we could have used that to our advantage, or we could have just left it alone. But either way, I may have got off the point, though, but you know what I mean.
You racist. All right. You Kool-Aid fucking assassins. You fucking fried chicken connoisseurs. Whatever, man. I don't even care no more. Call me a racist. I'm telling y'all the truth. Okay? Is this all black people? Of course not. But there is a significant amount of you motherfuckers that are absolutely fucking retarded, bro.
I mean, that's
dumb as fuck. Sort everything out through violence. Can't speak proper English. Don't take education seriously. Don't work a job. Think criminal activity is cool. Thinking being in a gang is awesome. Listen to drill music all day. Wear your pants below your fucking waist. Incredible. You embarrass all of us. And we all have to deal with the stereotypes. So
let me tell y'all something. I had a friend, right? And this friend, he wanted to be a gangster so effing bad. And he was a pretty cool guy. I ain't gonna lie. Played the game with him, knew his mom and all this good stuff. And he died. You wanna know why? He died because he was playing a game that he should never been playing since we were kids. Like, he wanted to play gangster. He was a Crip one day, he was a Blood the next day, he was I don't know, what was it? What was that one gang that was a Latina gang with the purple? I forgot. But he was switching gangs every day. And eventually, as we got older, he actually turned into a gang member. Like, yeah, he actually turned into a real life Blood and all that good stuff, because honestly, that's what he'd been wanting to be. It's like, it's kind of crazy how since the kid wanted to be a gangster. That's what's scary. Like, me as a kid, I was like, no. But this kid actually wanted to be a gangster, and he became that, and he died. You want to know how he died? In a very gangster fashion. They pulled up on him at his house and they shot him to death. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but the moral of the story is that, bro, this stuff is fed from us from a young age. From a young age, to where these kids carry this ideal out from when they're a kid to they're an adult. And as they say, man, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And that's how that man was living. From a kid, though. From a kid. I remember as a kid, his kid brought a whole gun into school. The dude brought a gun into school. Like, what do you think was going to be his life?
And now, when I walk into a restaurant, they're like, I don't know if I want to serve this guy. These niggas never tip.
Wait, no way.
Until they hear me speak, they're like, oh, okay. All right. I feel a bit better now.
Really? Then they better? Hold on. Which one? Are you? Because, let me see, really? Not, hold on. Anthony? That, really? A GoFundMe page for this guy right here. So you're telling me this is a GoFundMe page for this character? Are you serious? This kid has mental problems at best. At best. He is not no damn hero. How are you a hero? American hero for what? Stabbing an innocent white kid in the chest? Like, where's the hero at? Why does he get a GoFundMe? For what? Committing crimes? You know how bad this makes us look as black people when we support this bullshit? It's like, bro, let this man go down the river. It's a wrap. He done threw his life away, and we're going to go ahead and make sure, and the justice system should go ahead and make sure that's official. Because that is cold-blooded manslaughter. Like, honestly, 10 to 15.
Got to deal with that hurdle because the Aquarius before me came into the restaurant, didn't want to tip.
Oh, yeah, shout out Steph, though. She was pretty much telling me, Seth, they're doing a FundMe page for Anthony. And I'm just like, bruh. Oh my God. Oh my. Okay. I'm like, this was gonna sow division. Like, and I swear, black people, there is nothing you can say to defend this. There's no mental disorder you can randomly give this man. There's no background story that you can give this man that's gonna validate this bullshit.
LaQuisha came in complaining about the fucking wings not being hot enough. And then they hot enough. He heat it back up for me. Shit like that. And the reason why I'm so annoyed, Myron, you're racist. Myron, you're so bigoted. Nigga, I gotta deal with the consequences of these idiots. That's why.
I mean, he ain't lying.
I walk into a fucking store, niggas think I'm gonna steal.
He ain't lying.
I walk into a restaurant, waiters thinking having second thoughts. Walk into a fucking, like, Quickie Mart.
It's like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I even gotta watch like how I guess my attitude with people. Cause like okay, look, I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm a decently sized guy. I'm like 6'2". So like when I get, I guess, a bit of an attitude with people in person, face to face, I gotta realize that one, I'm a black man too, and they don't see my people as people who can handle confrontation. And we can. Yes, we definitely can. We can sit there and talk to you and we won't put our hands on you. But I can see in a lot of people's face where I do get kind of like a little bit, I guess, snippy with them. They get scared. They voice damn near start trembling. I'm just like, whoa, bro. Hold on. We're just having a little bit of a heated conversation. It ain't like that. Like, trust me, I wouldn't touch you just over this. Like, trust me, as long as you don't touch me, I'm not going to do anything to you. I don't care how heated the conversation get. I'll let you say something like, I mean, ultimately disrespectful. And I mean, trust me, it would have to be something crazy. You can call me blackie, darky, all you want, nigga, and then we're not, and I still won't touch you. I'll just walk away. But I do see when I do get big with guys, because black people aren't known for handling confrontation well, they do get scared. And I mean, that's all races, except for my own, though, of course, because we kind of can tell when we're being serious or not.
Asian nigga starts getting nervous. It's not until they hear me speak.
I'm weak. Shout out Green Bean. He ain't lying. He's like, play gangsta game, win gangsta prizes. And I ain't gonna lie, that's what my friend played. Gangsta game and won some gangsta prizes. And it was sad. But when I found out how my man died, I was like, of course. No fucking course. Like, I was sad, trust me. I was hurt because he wasn't a bad guy. We had some great times, but I was just like, of fucking course.
And behave and carry myself in a certain manner, like, oh, okay, no problem, okay. He good black man. But I gotta come in with a chip on my shoulder because you dumbass niggas fucking up for everybody. So yeah, I'm annoyed and I'm frustrated because I gotta deal with the fucking consequences of this stupid shit.
Yeah.
Niggas get all nervous. I'm walking down the street. They cross the street, and I'm the only one with the fucking balls to say this shit. Everybody else is a bitch. Well, you know, I don't want to talk shit about my black sisters and black brothers. Fuck that shit. Y'all are stupid. And you fucking up for everybody else. Tired of it, bro. Damn.
Oh,
damn, y'all niggas piss me off. Let me tell y'all something, man. Goddamn.
I'll take one with him.
I get into Austin. I land. Right? You know what I saw? I'm at the airport. I see nothing but white people. I'm like, damn. This feels good. Bruh. I don't gotta worry about some bum shit coming up. You know, I don't gotta worry about bro, I can relax.
Nah, I even go lie to him. He ain't lying. It's like, dog. It's like when I was driving through Atlanta, right? And I was driving through this really white neighborhood. And I was cool. Stopped at the stoplights, didn't feel like I needed to run a red light or anything. I was like, all right, it's nice. And then I stopped up in the hood over there, and I'm like, oof. Yeah, I mean, well, look, you go from seeing white people in their shorts and their polos to seeing niggas with their shirt off with their sagging pants. You know, the vibe a little different, I'll tell you. The vibe a little different.
Because I'll tell you how this, around the blacks, I don't relax. Heads on a swivel. Looking around what's going on and shit. But I saw these white people, I was like, all right. I got to worry about nothing. I could just put my headphones in. No noise cancel. I could put the noise canceling on. I could be on my phone. Have it out. You know, I could put my backpack down, walk over to the fucking bathroom and come back and not have to worry about nothing. Felt good, man. Felt good. Then I come back to fucking Miami, right?
Weird
ass. Get in a cab. Haitian nigga. Hey, I need to go to Brickell. Okay, I'll take you there. Right? Nigga takes me there. All right, I'm on Apple Pay. Right? They have the little thing on the side. That little thing. I'm like, I'm gonna Apple Pay. Nigga pulls out his phone. Or you go down to swipe on this. It's like it's on his phone. I'm like, man, you fucking scammer ass niggas, bro. God damn. Oh shit. Get out the goddamn taxi.
Hold on, no way.
Swipe that little thing. I'm like, I'm gonna Apple Pay. Nigga pulls out his phone. Or you go down to swipe on this. It's like it's on his phone. I'm like, man, you fucking scammer ass niggas, bro. God damn. Can't even get out the goddamn taxi without niggas being niggas, bro. Holy. Nigga scammed this fucking cab company, bro. I already knew. I was like, man, this nigga, bro. I can't Apple Pay. I gotta fucking do this shit on your dumbass phone. I gotta swipe my card on this shit. You scamming ass nigga, I should report you.
Oh God, it's taking all the money. You know it.
To your fucking cab company. But I was already tired and I had to do the show. I had to do the debrief. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna tell y'all niggas about this. I'm not gonna snitch on this thing. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here. So I went from Austin, Texas, white people, clean, safe airport, don't gotta worry about shit. Fantastic service. I was at a steakhouse. Nigga comes up, oh yeah, what kind of steak knife would you like? I was like, give me the German one, nigga. You guys already know why. Oh, slash in the chat. Then I come back to Miami. Not even 10 minutes. Niggas already scamming. I'm telling you, bro. We got to have a real discussion. We got to have a real discussion with the niggas, bro. I got to do some more MLK shit. I got to get like a podium in Washington, D.C. I got to talk to everybody. I'm the only one that's going to do it. Tariq the shit ain't going to tell him the truth.
Nope.
He going to say white supremacy.
You gonna say white supremacy and beg for reparations? Yes, he's begged the white money. This beg the white people for money. The same white people that you call oh so evil. Crazy.
You're a criminal because of white supremacy. It was a white man that forced you to sell the drugs and the crack, right? Dr. Umar, dumbass. I'm a Pan-African. I don't fuck with white women. That's what he gonna talk about. Bro, I'm the only one that could do it. I'm the only one that could do it. But goddamn, bro, like, I'm serious. We got some fucking work to do, bro. This shit is getting out of hand. Shit's getting out of fucking hand, bro. I don't want to walk into a fucking Asian mart. Niggas telling me, hurry up and buy. Why? Why do I gotta hurry up and buy? I can't take my time. What? Because Laquan want to come in here and do some fuck shit earlier?
Yep. Literally.
Shit, man. Niggas fucking up for everybody else, bro. I'm just annoyed. Because I got to deal with it. They sit there and they tell me, well, Myron, you ain't black. You ain't one of us. Nigga, everyone else thinks I'm black, so I got to deal with the same bullshit.
I mean, trust me, people try to tell me, oh, you're Caribbean, you're not one of us. I'm like, nigga, are you serious? Like, oh, you're not FBA, you're not one of us. I'm like, but I got to deal with the consequences of FBA action. So what about that? What about that? Now, in this case, I ain't gonna lie, the Haitians is a bit on the Caribbean side, but hey, y'all know what I mean.
No matter what you think, Tyrone, because everyone else thinks I'm a Tyrone too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like other races are like, you look like you're North African. No, nigga. No. How do you even buy? To you? To me?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, you think they look at us and be like, you know what? You don't look like one of them FBA blacks, or you don't look like one of them plantain. Like, nah. Trust me, they treat us all the same, brother. And it don't even matter you from this country or not. If you look black or you're just black, because some people from the African country like mine, it's a bit more Arabic, a bit more on the Arabic side, but you will still get treated the same.
To Fresh, to Chris, to Mo, to Bills, Harry, everybody. It's the same shit. We're all niggas to them, bro. These dumbass niggas want to sit there, well, I'm an FBA. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Bro. Shut up. We're all under the same umbrella, nigga. We're all getting judged the same. To them.
And then the worst part about it is now this whole FBA community, bro, in the black community is so confusing sometimes. Like, all right, we're supposed to fix the crime, right? And here's what the FBA community decides to do. Blame all the crime on non-FBA blacks. And by non-FBA blacks, I mean, if your ancestors didn't come from the American slave plantation, you are not a foundational black American. Is what they're saying. And they're now putting it off on, oh, no, it's not us blacks that came from this that were, worked the farmlands of this country. No, it's the blacks that were imported in. Yes, they're the ones causing all the crime. But yet, we're also the highest performing blacks in America. It's the Africans and, then it's the Caribbeans, me and my people. And there you go. And then they work its way down. So, I mean, hey, it is funny, though. It's like they try to pass crime off on us as well. And even though we're the highest performers. But it get like that. But let's go to another reason of why the black community is also suffering, because it's also through the examples our women give us.
I told black men that they had to have money to holler at you. I told black men that they had to have money to holler at you.
And the argument is why black men don't want to go to college, or why there's less black men in college. And there is less black men in college. And, she's going to go ahead and explain it perfectly.
I told black men that they had to have money to holler at you. That's why they don't want to go to college. College is the long play. Mm-hmm. College is 4 years, then sometimes an additional 2 or 3, sometimes an additional 5 or 6, depending on what career field you choose. Y'all told black men,
boy, 8, 10 if you want to be a doctor, a medical doctor, a surgeon, man, you're spending like a quarter of your life in there.
And they got to have money right now. So they're not thinking about 4, 5, 6 years down the road. They want to go make money now. And regardless of what some men will say, there are a lot of men out there in the world that do things to impress women.
Yeah, or the women that they see as desirable. Like, all right, let's say this. Let's say a young man or the women that they respect. So young men will probably go off 2 things. The women he sees on TV, the women he finds super attractive on TV, and the men that they date, and then the women he respects in his life and the men that they date. Those are 2 things that us men kind of go off for when they're younger. So, I mean, let's say this, your mom, like y'all had your mom and dad in the house, right? And I would say let's talk about here we go. Single mom, right? Has a son. The single mom always dates businessmen and, like corporate guys and all that good stuff, like well-to-do guys. They make good amount of money. And this is what the son always sees her mom around. What do you think the son's going to want to be, since he holds his mom such high respect, and he's going to want to get a woman like his mom, like we usually all do? If you have a loving mom, he's going to be like the men that his mom pursued. Now, if your mom is out here dating drug dealers and all that good stuff, and you're a young man, what are you going to think? That it's okay to be a drug dealer and all that because, hey, the woman you respected most in life accepted that. You see where I'm going with this?
Women, y'all may not recognize the power that you have, but I am willing to bet my last dollar if we put more emphasis on being attracted to intelligence, being attracted to character, integrity, being attracted to commitment.
Exactly. That too. Because, and let's go on the celebrity side of things. Like, let's say a guy sees their favorite celebrity. God forbid it's a female rapper, but let's say it is. Whatever type of dudes that girl date, that guy's gonna want to be. And if that girl ain't dating no college dudes, why would he want to be a college guy? Why would she ain't dating no accountants, she ain't dating no doctors, lawyers, engineers. Who is she dating? She dating drug dealers and whatchamacallit, and rappers. I mean, same go for your movie stars. Same thing. I mean, same goes for some of these guys' mothers. Same thing. So who do you think these kids want to be if they weren't shown a real example of a well-to-do man? They're gonna want to be the guy who is getting all the girls in their eyes. They want to be the guy who's success in their eyes, and that's the guy who's getting the women that he either want or women he respect.
Determination, drive. I'm willing to bet they'll start going to college. I said what I said. Because if you stop and think about it, a lot of the things that we do is to impress the other sex. Now, I know y'all are going to say, I'm decentering men. I hear you. And men, I know you're going to say, I ain't worried about these. I get it. But we all want attention. A lot of us want to be validated. A lot of us.
Yeah, and it's funny because, and I ain't gonna lie, Black, I'm about to pull y'all card on this. Y'all say y'all want intelligent men. You want these educated men, but there are well-educated Black women that are dating hood niggas. There's well-educated Black women that are dating gang members, rappers, etc. That are everything but a working man, but a businessman as well. So I do blame Black women on the point of, y'all need to give a better example of the Black men you want us to be. Like, that's also, like, here's the thing, and I know what you women are gonna say. Oh, well, we shouldn't have to show you nothing. You men are the leaders and all this good stuff. But here's the thing: who do we grow up with? Y'all. So who gives us our example of men? Y'all. So I'm telling y'all to go ahead and fix that. And I would say most Black women have started to shape up. I'll give y'all that. I'm a positive guy. I'm not going to create the doomsday scenario saying we're perpetually doomed into this cycle. No, Black women are starting to wake up and are starting to realize that, yeah, this hood nigga agenda is going to fuck their son up. It's going to fuck their daughter up, and they don't want to go for that.
To be chose, be picked. And
she cooking. I mean, listen, logically, you can't really argue with her. Emotionally, it makes sense. And when you start to look at our cultural norms, she's absolutely right. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to every single person, but I'll give you an example, a personal example. I always like to use myself as tribute. I volunteer as tribute. People have no clue, zero clue on what my life was like in high school. They have zero clue on what my life was like after I graduated from college. Or not even graduated from college, once I entered college directly from high school, right? They have zero clue whatsoever. But our cultural norms, in order to try to validate themselves, I hear it from guys specifically, that try to shame you and say, man, you must not have got none, or you must have been a lame, or you was probably the person that was studying and focused and dedicating yourself and making sure that you did what you were supposed to do. And I bet you didn't get any play because you wasn't dedicated. You wasn't a real one. You wasn't a hustler. You wasn't taking penitentiary chances in order to try to be like the rest of us. Now, I'm 42 years old, which means that
and penitentiary chances be crazy, because it's like, so you want to move high amounts of drugs at the chances of getting jersey numbers on your sentence to jail. Like, bro, that's like I'm saying. It was, you know what? Maybe Fox Chase had a point, because, Black people do kind of keep each other down with that mentality of, oh yeah, you ain't hood enough, or yeah, you ain't put in enough work. Yeah, you ain't hood. You ain't as hood as me. And then there's women who are like, oh, well, I only want a hood nigga. So, I mean, let's say that there's a girl you like in the hood and she says she only dates hood nigga, then that's gonna promote somebody, or maybe you, to be a hood nigga. This is what Black children go through. I'm telling you this right now. And it's not just women. It do be in their family, guys that they respect in their family who are gang members and that. But a lot of it do be for the hoes. There's a lot of dude I know that started gangbanging because women found it attractive. Like, literally, yes. There were women who literally only wanted to mess with hood dudes. Why? Because one, I ain't gonna lie, hood dudes easily manipulated. I'll be real with you. I was about to say something really, it'll probably go over a lot of people's head, but there are really some women that like want to control or manipulate what they love. And that was a lot of women in the hood.
I graduated from high school in 2000, over 25 years ago. 25 years ago. But I still see people within the culture. I mean, I'm talking about grown people, guys that are 30 and 40 years old talking about what they think that you were in high school. Now, I say that to tell you that our cultural norms is to validate ourselves. Now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth and argue with a person on what I was in high school, because what difference will it make, right? Right? Like, why would I try to substantiate that?
Okay.
Whether I was great, which I think that I was a pretty cool, popular person, and I did really well, and I graduated with over 2,000 people, and if it was somebody that could actually validate that it was something different that I was doing, then I'm sure they would have came forward by now, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still cool with everybody that I went to high school with, and that goes without saying, but what I'm saying is I celebrate the guys that played the long game, similar to what she's saying. College is a long game. Success is the long game. The people that took penitentiary chances are either dead or in jail. And more importantly, they did the thing that is going to hinder their future long term. So if you start
some of these people done destroyed their whole family over these penitentiary chances. I know a couple. So trust me, it ain't nothing that you want to brag about. The long game, I mean, oh Lord, look, man. The fast money brings slow problems, they say, don't it? And a slow problem is sitting 10 years in jail. That's a pretty slow. That shit goes by slowly. I'll tell you that. I'm pretty sure that goes by pretty slowly. But yes, fast lifestyle is going to lead to some very slow problems. And I'll tell you this, at least when you take the slow route, you just never know. I mean, like I said, you can go to college. You could be an entrepreneur. You could do whatever you want, but like low key, like it don't got to be illegal though. Like there's many ways to make money, outside of drugs and scamming and robbing people and whatever. And let's not get too dark, because if you talk about human trafficking, then you're on a whole nother level right now. I mean, you need to go under the jail.
To talk about the role that our cultural norms play in validating whether or not people should go to college or not, it is significant. And everybody is doing things for the validation of other people, including.
But I'm gonna tell you this though. You gotta stick with it though. You gotta stick with that shit. I mean, if you're going to school, I mean, hey, and you starting out good, great. Start out good to your very last day. I mean, hey, I don't want to hear you started out 3.5 and up, and then at the end you ended at 2.0. It's like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that BS. I want to know that you stuck with that shit all the way out. If you're an entrepreneur, did you stick that shit all the way out? Usually, you could tell who actually sticks shit all the way out. Wanna know why? Because they succeeded. That's how you know. That's how you know when somebody stuck that shit out, because they succeeded.
The validation of women. It is a fact. Most women today, yesterday, and the day before are saying that they don't want to talk to a broke guy. I see and I review videos on a regular basis of women saying, oh, talk to the older guy because we don't date potential. I believe personally.
Yeah. And that ain't crazy. Talk to the older guy because they don't date potential. And I always just say something. I'm like, bro, what do you think y'all pushing men to do when y'all say stuff like that? It's like, here's the thing, like black women can go to college and not feel no pressure about, oh, am I making money fast enough to get a wife or to get her? Oh, I know she said she want a guy who gets this and that, make this and that. It's like, bro, y'all put a lot of pressure on these black men who just want to do things the right way. When y'all honestly act like, I mean, we should all be what? Rappers, athletes, and scammers. Is like what type of pressure? Like, think about it. It's like almost like black women pressure some of their men to commit crime. It's almost like, yeah, and this is the thing. It's not like this is their personal choice as well. So it's more their fault than yours. But from what y'all are attracted to, y'all do push young black men to commit crime. Like, damn, but it is the reality of the situation.
That it is best for you to date the person with potential, because potential are they intelligent enough? Are they steadfast? Do they have work ethic? Are they going to dedicate themselves? Are they going to do the right thing? Do they believe in God? Are they a good person? Do they treat people well? And do they do good business? That is potential, because you're not even going to start making money until after you get out of college most times. 22, 23, 24 years old. Most guys don't even figure out who they are truly as far as how their life is going to turn out until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. And so
I'm pretty sure some of you older guys can relate. It's like, dog, I'm over here rolling the dice in every direction in my early 20s. Like, yeah, I was in college, but like, let's be real. Even when I was in college, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. I just kind of went along what sounded sexy and what I was really good at, which was math. So I went along with that. Eventually, I found out that that's not what I wanted to do, and I had to pivot. I had to make it an extreme pivot because I realized that I was going into something that I didn't want to do, and I was half-assing. And if I'm going to do something, I want to be motivated enough, or honestly have enough discipline to, well, put all the work into it. And that wasn't me at that time. And here's the crazy thing is, I had to step back from college, find out who the hell I am and what the hell I want to be in life. And trust me, I went out there into the workforce, and I figured that's not what I want to do. So went back to college, tackled a degree, and got it. It's almost low key. I'm gonna say it like this: if you don't honestly feel right doing something, then stop doing it. Like, if you're just doing it because it's gonna make your mommy proud, or it's gonna, or everybody in your family went to college, like, bro, don't do it because of that, because you're doing it for the wrong reason. You should be doing it because you're chasing your passion, or you're chasing a job that you can really see yourself doing and being happy doing, and having pride in yourself doing. Remember that part.
When you're getting married early, that means you're going through the motions, you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to dedicate yourself, you're shooting in the gym with each other, you have a vested interest in seeing each other be successful, but you don't see that anymore. People don't marry because you got good character. People don't marry because you also got great work ethic. People don't marry because you're consistent. People not focused on, oh man, we are in a microwave. I have an attention span that only lasts about a minute. I see it on a regular basis, and it's the reason why a lot of these platforms are popular, because the attention span are short. Even the music that we're making, even the music that we listen to, it's not even 2 minutes long. It's a verse and a hook. That's it. Sometimes they don't even throw the hook in there no more. They just go all verse, and that's it. Because people and women specifically continue to incentivize men by saying that they don't want a guy and they don't want to date potential. And it's very hard for guys to divest themselves from the thing that they're being raised by, and to say, I'm going to do things differently and I'm going to take the long view. And even when you take the long view, they call you crazy or they call you a lame when you're successful. Right is wrong and wrong is right. So if we're starting to look at cultural norm and say if that playing a role and whether or not guys are choosing to go to college, it absolutely does. She's cooking. She's right.
We will do the things to get us picked. True. So that might be why they're not going to college. Another idea not the only. A lot of black men are being raised by single black mothers, and they ain't got the money to support their sons through college.
Bro.
So how am I going to get into college when my mama can barely afford to feed me and my siblings? I don't feel like that's even an option.
Facts.
I don't have a lot of role models in my neighborhood that are showing me that I should go to college.
Facts. I'm gonna put the link. But you have hella role models showing you that, you know what, if I get enough weed and get these pounds up, maybe I can do something. I don't know. Maybe if I start selling pills, like my one homie over there who came up, maybe I'll get something going, because this college shit is only putting me in debt. But I see my brothers out there over here, you slinging them drugs and they getting that money. Or I see bro out here working the cards and stuff with the scanners and the bank plays, and he's making money. It's like, bro, that's the hardest part about sticking to it. Or the legit way is that you're going to get tested. God is going to throw stuff in your face where he's going to show you that, oh, well, you know, there's always the dark route, or I say the dark side of things where you can, you know, rob, this, like sell drugs and scam. And it's going to look real good. And there's going to be people in your life that's going to make it look fantastic. But you got to stick to what you're doing here and stick with what you're good at. Because if you get sidelined by that trick, by that stuff, trust me, ain't nobody meant to be out here stealing their whole life, or I ain't gonna lie, transporting drugs their whole life. Trust me, that is not what God put you on this earth to do.
Link back to this woman's profile in the description for y'all to go and check her out, because I always like to give credit to the content creator, regardless of whether I agree with her or not. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Cook.
They didn't go to college. And then if I do have an uncle, a daddy, or granddaddy that is in my life, sometimes they hit me with, oh boy, just go get a job because real men work. So y'all help me to understand why they would choose college.
Yeah, on God. When y'all choose, well, the guys who don't go to college, let's be honest. Like, and you can't blame a young man for sitting home trying to hustle up. Maybe, and sometimes I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes it don't even be drugs. Sometimes these kids maybe get into, I don't know, resale, commerce, trading, crypto. I mean, that's why we had a rise of these. It could be a good thing. That's why we had a rise of young millionaires, because it were these women pretty much saying, I don't want to do with no college dude. I don't want to do with no dudes going to school. And hey, some guys took that to heart and they was like, bet, 17 years old, millionaire by 19.
I will tell you this, and this is the honest to God truth on everything I love, including my own father's grave. I am going to tell you the truth. When I was 26 years old, it was 2008. I had just really lost my job. The market had absolutely went into a recession. Everything in Detroit was crumbling. It was a city that was the most impacted by the housing crisis. Everything was going bad. I decided that I wanted to go back to school.
And all right, let's get over to the next video and let's hop off this subject. Okay, I'm gonna close that on this video, and then I will catch you guys at either 8:30 or 9:30 for the nighttime show. All right, then. Hey, man, I know we had a morning show, an afternoon show, and I'm gonna try to hit y'all with the nighttime show. Hey, it's gonna be a good one. All right, guys, let's get to this last video here.
$10,000 for a bearded ladies cabaret. The National Endowment for the Arts awarded a $10,000 grant to the Bearded Ladies Cabaret, which describes itself as a queer experimental cabaret company, to perform an ice skating show promoting climate change. The production was supposed to feature polar bears, drag queens, and a character dubbed non-binary parental guardian nature instead of Mother Nature. $56,000.
Hold on, what?
Non-binary parental guardian nature instead of Mother Nature. $56,000 to water 8 plants. On March 7th, 2025, the Department of Government Efficiency announced that they canceled a contract to water about 8 plants for 5 years. The cost was around $1,400 per plant each year. Doge has also said they'll water them themselves free of charge. $75,000 for a study about blowing lizards off trees with leaf blowers. In this study, funded from the National Science Foundation and conducted by Harvard, they perched lizards on small wooden poles and then blasted them with a leaf blower. The goal was to see how lizards respond to hurricane force winds, either hanging onto the perch or fleeing. The broader objective, however, was to see how hurricanes might affect lizard evolution. Since that seems to be the case, and since lizards play a crucial role in the ecosystem, providing food to bigger predators and eating massive quantities of insects, this would have been important to know, especially as hurricanes are becoming stronger and more frequent. $102,000 to study whether gin or tequila makes fish angrier. In 1975, a grant for $102,000 was given to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism to study the effects of alcohol on aggressive behavior in a species of sunfish, including one experiment to measure the effects of gin compared to tequila. It's unclear if this study ever actually happened, but it was notably awarded the Golden Fleece Award for wasteful and nonsensical spending by Wisconsin's Senator William Proxmire. $118,000 to test if a metal replica of Thanos could really snap his fingers. Senator Rand Paul claimed that $118,000 were spent for this study, and in 2020, the National Science Foundation did indeed award a grant of that amount to study the mechanics of finger snapping. The study, however, while inspired by Thanos, was probably done to better understand the mechanics behind creatures like termites and ants, which have snapping mandibles, in addition to being useful for developing prosthetics and soft robotics. $211,435 to promote diversity and inclusivity in ornithology communities. In 2023, the National Science Foundation awarded a grant aimed at increasing access and inclusivity within the field of ornithology. The project talked about designed affinity groups, referred to as flocks, to support historically marginalized communities within ornithology. These groups were designed to provide support through community building, emotional backing, and amplifying the voices of their members. $250,000 to support vegan local climate action innovations in Zambia. Part of the USAID, this initiative aimed to promote plant-based diets, reduce reliance on livestock farming, and encourage sustainable agricultural practices to mitigate climate change impacts. This expenditure was directly cited by President Trump in his address to Congress on March 4th, 2025. $364,000 to reduce discrimination against recyclers in Bolivia. People who collect and sell recyclable products in Bolivia face high levels of discrimination because others perceive them as working in unsanitary and dirty conditions. However, these activities are not only beneficial to the individuals doing them, but also to the environment. The $364,000 grant was given by the Inter-American Foundation with the goal of working with approximately 40 recycler associations to advocate for public policies and programs.
I mean, hold on. Why can't y'all do that shit in New York? Hold on. You paying people to pick up trash in other countries, not our own? Well, no, I think we do got those. But nah. I mean, if y'all hire them in other countries, I mean, you could go ahead and hire a fleet of them for New York, Brooklyn, New York specifically, because that is atrocious.
That recognize and support an inclusive, community-based recycling sector. $750,000 to study whether Neil Armstrong said "for man" or "for a man" on the moon. In 2016, the National Science Foundation awarded 2 grants totaling more than $700,000 to fund a project that studied the famous phrase Armstrong said on the moon. The project's goal was to advance psycholinguistic research by exploring how and why speech can sometimes be unclear. The original purpose was to improve communication and understanding for individuals with conditions that may affect speech. The study used the famous phrase as a case study to examine whether speech speed played a role in clarity. Researchers tested whether the phrases "for" and "for a" differed enough in duration and tone to be clearly distinguished. The findings suggest that speech rate influences how people perceive words. What we do know is that Armstrong intended to say, "That's one small step for a man." $873,584 for movies in Jordan. This total is divided into multiple smaller projects. The first project was a 5-day workshop in Jordan, focused on essential filmmaking skills, including handling equipment like boom microphones and mastering lighting techniques, conducted at a cost of $4,699. The second project...
We're helping Jordan make movies? I mean, are they good? Oh, no, I'm just asking, like, for real, though. If they good, then possibly money well spent.
It cost $20,000, used to organize the first regional premiere and associated events of Star Wars 9,
Really?
The Rise of Skywalker in Jordan. The third...
Okay, so it was wasted on complete bullshit. I'm sorry. It was wasted on bullshit. That Star Wars was trash.
Project consisted...
I'm a Star Wars fan, and that was trash.
Of a series of filmmaking capacity building workshops, which cost $65,149. The fourth project, the American Film Days project, was designed to showcase high art films to audiences in Jordan at a cost of $50,000. The fifth project is a 2-year initiative connecting established American women filmmakers from New York Women in Film and Television with filmmakers in Jordan, providing mentorship as they develop and produce new documentaries and web series, which cost $298,160. The sixth and final project, costing $435,575, aimed to enhance the appeal of Jordan's film industry. $874,000 to see if Japanese quail became more sexually promiscuous on... Between 2010 and 2016, the National Institutes of Health awarded a...
Cocaine is freaking... I mean... You know what? I can answer that question for them. Yeah, I bet they did. I bet they were. I mean, if it was a smidge of it, if you overdosed them, then But I think I know how that went.
Approximately $874,503 to the University of Kentucky to study the effects of on sexual behavior in Japanese quail. The study was building on previous clinical studies showing a correlation between use and risky sexual practices in humans, and wanted to continue.
Oh God, it's like they talk about the Diddy parties. Like, man, what is it about cocaine that make these niggas gay? Like, oh shit. Nah, that's actually an unnecessary study, but I would not mind the answers, though. I would not mind the answers. Know what? I know the answers. No shit. I bet they do. I mean, look what Diddy was putting in the baby oil.
Continue research by using Japanese quail as a model organism. And indeed, the study proved that repeated exposure to during sexual activity may increase sexual motivation, which in turn may lead to high-risk sexual activities. $903,811 for alpaca farming in Peru. The Department of Government Efficiency claimed to have canceled a $903,811 grant for alpaca farming in Peru. The grant did take place and was originally approved because alpaca farming is one of the few sources of employment in the rural highlands of Arequipa, Peru. Some fact checkers, however, including Snopes, pointed out that the actual grant amount was $275,510 and was scheduled to be dispersed from 2023 to 2026. As you can see, official sources and legacy media have also recently started becoming unreliable, which is why public trust in them has been declining. This doesn't have to be the case, though, because there are services like Ground News, which is also today's sponsor, that help you get an unbiased and factual view of what's happening around the world. For example, let's take a look at this article about Think. They simply gather news from around the world in $1.45 million to increase voter confidence in Liberia. In 2023, the U.S. aid awarded a grant to the Elections Coordinating Committee in Liberia for the Liberia Domestic Election Observation Activity, aiming to enhance voter confidence in electoral.
Nah, Green Bean, for real though. It's like, how much they're getting paid to test the cocaine? Like, I have a friend.
Processes and mitigate electoral violence through evidence-based observation and reporting. $1.5 million for holograms of deceased comedians.
What? 1.5 for holograms of deceased comedians. Really? I mean, we got a hologram Tupac and Michael Jackson, so now we need what? A hologram Richard Pryor?
2015, the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York, received significant funding to incorporate holographic performances of legendary comedians like George Carlin, Rodney Dangerfield, and Bob Hope into its offerings. $1,513,299 to spin kittens.
Now, I don't think I'd mind that. I'm not even gonna lie, it is a waste of money, but I'm like, I mean, is it a public concert since our money's going into it? Like, can everybody watch it on television since it was taxpayer funded? That's my only concern.
To research motion sickness. Since 2019, the National Institutes of Health has awarded grants to the University of Pittsburgh to research the mechanisms behind motion-induced nausea and vomiting, with the potential to contribute to treatments for human motion sickness. In these experiments, kittens were strapped to a hydraulic table that tilted and spun them in all directions, sometimes completing a full rotation in just 5 seconds. Their eyes were exposed to bright, flashing lights, and if these stimuli failed to induce vomiting, they were given copper sulfate to trigger the reaction. Some of these cats, before undergoing the experiments, were subjected to a procedure known as decerebration, which essentially zombified them. Due to the graphic nature of this process, we cannot discuss it further here on YouTube. $2.1 million.
Hey, yo, y'all paying $1.5 million to torture kittens?
You what?
Ain't no goddamn. Y'all some evil people. I just want to let y'all know. Evil. It's evil.
For enhancing border security and management in Paraguay. In 2022, the Department of State awarded a $2.1 million grant to the International Organization for Migration to provide Paraguay with enhanced border security and management capabilities with tools like the Migration Information and Data Analysis System. This system enhances the country's ability to manage migratory flows by incorporating biometric data and providing access.
Hey, and shout out to my man Fox Chase. He says, I'll date outside my race, but not procreate. It's not racism, but I want my kids to resemble me. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Bro, I swear to God, you know, it's crazy. I had a friend who dad said the exact same thing. He's like, look, man, I don't have nothing against black people. I just think that everybody should date their own race. And I was like, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And here's the thing, because I know all guys can relate that, yo, if you had a daughter, who would you want your daughter to date? Somebody of your race, right? Of her race, of which a race that resembles you, because you want your grandkids to look like you. I would date. That's how the Fox shit. He said, yeah, I'll procreate with somebody in my race. I may date outside, but I procreate. And trust me, that's a lot of guys. But and I ain't gonna lie, Fox, you a real one. Because a lot of guys do not admit that. Not too many guys admit that.
To national and Interpol alert lists. $2.3 million.
Well, then it'd be the same guys that will accidentally, you know, hey, Fox Chase, you know, you might slip up, my man. But don't get caught slipping out here, G.
To inject dogs with in experiments related to overdose research. Between 2020 and 2021, the National Institutes of Health spent about $2.3 million on an experiment that involved injecting beagle dogs with. The objective of the study was to evaluate.
Hey, yo, what's up with these dudes and cocaine? Like, bro, why? Why cocaine? Like, hold on. Where you getting all this cocaine from, Hunter?
the potential adverse cardiovascular effects that may result when a certain substance and are administered together to them. The study was also designed to show how the effects of in the body can be altered with medication. It was stated that these types of animal studies are needed to ensure safety before moving it into a human study, and that the number of dogs used in the study was the minimum required to properly characterize the effects of the test article. $3 million to watch hamsters fight. Between 1990
Okay, hold on. No, bro, $3 million to watch hamsters fight is actually kind of funny, bro. Oh shit! It's like we're having hamster cockfights.
1996 and 2015, the National Institute.
I'm sorry for my hamster lovers. I'm sorry, but that is kind of funny. $3 million to watch hamsters fight is like, are you serious?
Institutes of Health allocated over $3 million to fund research at Northeastern University investigating the effects of anabolic steroids on aggression using Syrian hamsters. This was done to see if and how steroid abuse increases aggressive behavior in teenagers. Some of those experiments involved injecting hamsters with steroids, then putting another one in the cage to see if the drugged ones were more aggressive towards the normal one to protect their territory. The studies found that hamsters that had been injected with anabolic steroids became much more aggressive. Another similar one investigated.
We're juicing up. Well, so we're juicing up hamsters to fight each other just to test the aggression or the effects of steroids on aggression, right? Really? I mean, isn't it obvious what happens to just humans in general? Do we need to test hamsters to figure that out?
Whether becoming a trained fighter through 2 weeks of combat made the.
These people are bored. They are bored. Like, bro, they're literally spending money because they're bored. It got to be some type of boredom here. Like, bro, the son just sitting around like, shoot, you want to ask the government for $3 million to make hamsters fight? Sure, fuck it. Let's go.
Another similar one investigated whether becoming a trained fighter through 2 weeks of combat made the hamsters more aggressive. This was to research what's called the winner effect, which says that winning an aggressive encounter enhances the probability of winning future contests. Animal activists pressured the lab to.
He's like, if I beat his ass, I'm going to beat the next person's ass. I'm going to beat the other guy's ass. I'm just going to keep beating ass. I'm crying. It's like, bro, it's like the champion theory, basically. It's like, hey, you could be undefeated and be the champion. Man, what is that? The John Jones theory? That's what we're going to call it. We're going to rename it. It's the John Jones theory.
Cut the program, and the experiments were eventually stopped. $3.4 million to study LGBTQ plus teenagers vaping. Researchers noted that LGBTQ plus teenagers are 10 to 30% more likely to vape than their non-LGBTQ plus peers, since vaping increases the risk of
because vaping is a bit gay. I mean, they made it gay. They made it gay. All the liberals, y'all made vaping gay, but it is what it is.
Beginning to smoke cigarettes or use other tobacco products by 4 times, LGBTQ.
Smoke cigarettes or smoke something like a man. Vaping like a woman. Smoke like a man, goddammit. Okay, I'm just playing.
Plus teenagers are at a greater risk for tobacco use and tobacco-related health concerns. Project SMART was a study that tried to find the most effective use of social media to spread anti-vaping messages. For this study, a $3.49 million grant was awarded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse to a group of Annenberg School faculty members. $6.9 million to fund research into the development of a smart toilet. You might not have known this, but the anus has a unique pattern for each of us, just like fingerprints. This feature of the human body was used by Stanford University researchers, funded by the National Institutes of Health's National Cancer Institute, to try to develop a smart toilet that would not only identify the person sitting on it through what's called the anal print, thanks to 3 cameras and the use of AI.
Oh, hell nah, bro. Hell no, bro. No, hell no. I do not want cameras. People. Do you understand what they just said? They're paying $9 million for a camera to look up your ass. Literally, we paying $6.9 million for a toilet to look up your ass. Is that really what y'all telling me right now, bro? This is not real. This can't be. Hey, yo, bro. The craziest waste Doge found so far in 15 minutes. I'll be real. I'm shocked.
But also analyze urine and stool samples to check on the patient's health. $7 million.
All right, maybe that could be useful. I mean, check on the stool samples and the urine and be like, hey, you might want to go to the doctor. I mean, all right, I could get down with that, I guess. The cameras is blowing me, though. I don't know about them cameras.
Various projects about magic. In 2023, the Institute of Museum and Library Services awarded $250,000 to the American Museum of the Moving Image to update its exhibition on magic lantern shows and Nickelodeons. Also in 2023, the National Endowment for the Humanities, in cooperation with the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, granted about $390,000 to fund a 3-season podcast that talks about how magical beliefs and practices have evolved in the United States from the 1600s to today. Lastly, in 2020, the Department of Defense granted about
I like a magic show as much as the next man, but to spend government money on it, not something I'd agree to. Shoot, I love illusionists and magic and magic shows, but yeah, to spend government money on it, oh no. No, I don't think that's smart.
$6,300,000 to the city of Minot for a Magic City Discovery Center. $10 million for circumcisions in Mozambique. The U.S. government allocated $10 million to support voluntary medical male circumcision programs in Mozambique as part of its HIV prevention strategy. This procedure has been shown to reduce the risk of female-to-male HIV transmission by approximately 60%, making it a cost-effective intervention in high-prevalence regions. $20 million to make a new Sesame Street show.
$10 million for circumcisions and $10 million for circumcisions in other countries. I mean, okay.
In Iraq. In 2021, U.S. aid allocated $20 million to Sesame Workshop for the production of Alan Sim Sim Iraq, an Arabic language adaptation of Sesame Street aimed at promoting inclusion and mutual respect among Iraqi children. Supporters of this spending say that it's a tool of soft power, promoting stability and countering extremist ideologies by educating kids in regions with conflicts. $28 million.
So Elmo gonna pull up to you in Gaza and be like, well, in Iran, and be like, do you want to have rights as a woman? Like, bruh, what the fuck is Elmo gonna tell them in Iran? Well, what's Big Bird gonna tell them? What? How to count to 1 and 2? Trust me, they're already better at maths than we are. They don't need math lessons.
On wrong camouflage uniforms for the Afghan National Army. Between 2008 and 2017, the Department of Defense spent approximately $28 million on camouflage uniforms for the Afghan National Army that were of little practical use because of Afghanistan's terrain. They featured a forest camouflage pattern, which is effective in woodland environments. The problem is that forests cover only about 2.1% of Afghanistan's landscape, which is mostly mountains and deserts. That specific proprietary camouflage design pattern was chosen by the Afghan defense minister based on personal preference over other free camouflage patterns offered by the U.S. government. The proprietary nature of the chosen pattern led to increased production expenses, resulting in uniforms that cost 40% to 43% more per set.
But it looked good, though. But it looked good.
Former U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis described it himself as an error and a wasteful decision. If you liked this video, subscribe for similar ones.
I bet. Because ain't no way. Oh, the crazy psychological theories. Oh, no. All right. We're going to go ahead and close it out on this, guys. So, you know what time it is, man. And what I got is...
be fans of me when that all got real, you ran on me. 2 months ago, couldn't stand, let me know she want to be a part of my fantasy.